to the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, your trusted partner for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration. Call United Mechanical at 502-339-1133.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It is Tuesday, September 30th. This is the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus. We're coming to you live from the world-famous University of Louisville College of Business Studios here in October-ready Louisville, Kentucky. Cards fans, you can incubate your inner entrepreneur with U of L's top-ranked Innovation MBA. In 12 months, gain the confidence and connections needed to spark your entrepreneurial spirit. Learn best practices from U of L's award-winning faculty, serial entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, and national business leaders while you're competing for thousands of dollars in startup funding and business plan competitions. Start your journey today. The first step is visiting business.louisville.edu. We're on the air today from 2:32 until 5:30 here on 1450 AM, 96.1 FM, streaming across the country, including on YouTube, airing live on WVNA Channel 21, you know us better as the Big X. I'm thrown off here because I'm trying to get the baseball game on TV. Mike Rutherford, Roman Kelly here with you on a Tuesday edition of the show as we roll into the middle portion of the week. We gear up for the MLB playoffs. We continue to react a little bit to what we saw over the weekend against Pittsburgh. We start turning the page and getting ready for a monumental game this weekend against a ranked opponent in Virginia. We talk a little bit about the things that we didn't get a chance to touch on yesterday, including some basketball nuggets that are out there. We'll talk about the Monday Night Football action from last night, some of the storylines that were coming out of the world of sports overall from last night. We hear from you on the Game Day Men's Health text line. 502-414-1450 is the number to weigh in there. Questions, comments, concerns. Apologies to the text that we did not get to yesterday. If you have thoughts that were not read on the air, and you're upset about that, resend those thoughts in, and we'll rectify the situation today. Before we do any of this, though, we say hi to our guy, Roman Kelly, a.k.a. at Romy Bean, a.k.a. at Roman LMFAO. Roman, how are you, buddy?
Doing great, Mike. Don't know what that last one was there.
It's your old Instagram.
That is the old Instagram. But I'm feeling good. I'm excited to talk some Virginia football with you here today a little bit. Excited to see if I can keep your attention away from the MLB playoffs going on. But you're looking good in that jersey. You're looking good in that. I like it today. So it should be a good day here on the radio. Running with Roman Whitwell with Matt Childress. One of those days where it just flowed without actually talking about anything, really.
You know, the best days.
Yeah. Nice for a Tuesday.
Very nice for a Tuesday.
Got my brace unlocked today, Mike.
Tell me about this.
So
we're driving now, right?
We're driving. Went to the doc this morning, Dr. Caborn down at U of L Orthopedics. Shout out to him. And, he did a couple of movements, grabbed the knee a little bit, jerked it back and forth a bit, said it seemed strong. He said it really strong and that I'm doing great. Made me walk without the brace for the first time, that was interesting. Knee felt like it was going to buckle a little bit just because I haven't walked with bending my knee in weeks, But gained a little bit of traction, figured out how to do this the right way, keep your shoulders level, look up forward when you're walking, figured that back out, how to walk again, basically. And showed him a couple of other things that just to strengthen my calf and knee so I can show that I could lift if I had to emergency brake, basically. And they cleared me, so I'm good to go.
Look at you.
Going to be at the game this Saturday.
Do you feel good to go?
Yeah. Strength-wise, pain-wise, all that, yes. Just the actual act of walking is interesting with my right leg because when you walk, your knee bends, and then for a half second, when your left foot rises, all your weight's technically on your right foot, And now that my knee can bend when that's happening, I have to, actually focus on walking, and I can't walk fast. I still have to walk slow, so that's been interesting. I can walk freely, but still have to go at a slow pace. But feels good. Back to driving, back to doing things myself a little bit, so that always feels nice.
Who messed with the TV in here? Is my question.
I think TJ and them, TJ watches their stream on that TV.
Well, every day, so I used to have, I use, because I'm a gracious guy, team player, I had all my sign-ins for ESPN. I signed in with my personal stuff because otherwise.
I watch all my TV at work.
Otherwise nothing works here. We don't have any, we don't have basic TV here. We've got a smart TV without any smart TV subscriptions. So, someone had to take one for the team. So I logged into like ESPN and the other stuff so we can watch stuff going on. And for the last every time I come in here, there's it's some random news channel that I've never heard of, and it's just like Trump or Hegseth or whoever just giving some weird speech on TV. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know if TJ's just watching political stuff while he's doing the radio show.
I've been watching a lot of political stuff lately.
Maybe it's you. And now none of my logins work so I can't watch the damn baseball. I don't know what's going on here besides shenanigans are going on here. I've also got another big issue today. So I get home from picking John up from school. Virginia had her first class field trip today. Classic Louisville field trip. The kindergartners went to the pumpkin patch. And Mary was one of the chaperones.
Huber's?
They went to one that I've never heard of. It's kind of way far out. Something like Valley Farms. I've never heard of it before. She got to ride a horse though.
Wow,
big thing today. But so Mary's gone. Our childcare hasn't arrived yet, so it's just me and John for half an hour. We're hanging out. I'm getting ready to make him some lunch, and unbeknownst to me, he's just he takes my phone. He's got no idea what my passcode is, so he's just punching in numbers on the phone repeatedly. And it gets to a point where I'm locked out of my phone for an hour.
No.
Yes. And then, when the
is it 15 minutes before?
Well, it gets to 15 minutes initially, and then, I don't know what happened. I guess, I hit the wrong button or something, and, it locks me out for, over an hour. I try to figure out how to get logged in with the computer. It won't work because something has to update, and it won't update unless you're actually, logged in. So, long story short, I'm without phone access from about noon until, right as I'm leaving for the radio show. So, I looked at, as of right now, I don't know what's going on in the world, why I have to have this. I've got 73 unread texts, and I've got no idea how to catch up on all this stuff right now. We've got, we got the Reds text group that's fully locked in. We've got, all this stuff going on. The fantasy football group is chirping away. Mary's sending me texts from the field trip. It's way too much to catch up on now, and I feel like I'm completely disconnected. I mean, just 2 hours. It's all it takes to feel like you're disconnected from the people that you're the closest to in the world, Roman, and then random people that are texting you random stuff. It's a bad feeling.
When it piles up too, it can get now you don't want to read any of it. Now you don't even want to address any of it because you don't have to feel like you have the time or can't actually address all of those things exactly how you would want to because you're thinking about them all at once.
Oh, there are absolutely times where, if I'm away from the phone for some reason, or it's, maybe I went to sleep a little bit earlier, and I'll wake up and it'll be one of the text group, fantasy football, or we have an old baseball guys group and all this stuff. If I see that it's a 68 text thing between 3 people, I'll be all right, is this something I need to follow? And then I'm I don't have time for this. Just moving on. I'm you guys, every now and then it'll be a discussion about Marvel movies or something amongst my friends. And I'm I've got no insight here. And now I'm getting that way with the fantasy football thread because they're breaking down last night during the games, what needs to happen, who's close, and oh my God, I can't believe he got stopped short, and I can't believe he's only got 99 yards. And I'm I hate you all so much because I'm not in the league this year. So at a certain point, I'm all right, you're getting muted. I can't pay attention to this.
I had some crazy phone stuff happen yesterday.
What happened to your phone?
So I'm ending the Mondays with Dalton Pence show. It's 5 minutes till we end, and I start getting this rapid FaceTime call that has 2 numbers. It's someone's group FaceTime calling me with another person in the call, trying to make it a trio call on FaceTime, and I don't have either number saved. Dalton's talking, closing out the show. I get a text from the same one of the numbers in the chat. He's hey, he tells me who it is. It's an old friend of mine who's 4 years younger than me. We know each other back from when I lived on campus. He's cousins, quote unquote, with a friend of mine, but this kid's Mexican, and the friend of mine's very, very white, Southern kind of a guy. So I think they're cousins by neighborhood affiliation. Is kind of what what that is, Oklahoma stuff. I don't know. And he's calling me. He's yo, it's Q. Answer the phone. I'm hold on, I'm on the radio. Give me 5 minutes. He's answer. I've got Trenton Flowers on the phone right now.
Okay, I didn't know if you were going to talk about this on the show, but okay.
And I'm I'm on the radio. Give me 5 minutes. So I get off and upload Dalton's show. I immediately call him back real fast. He declines the call, and then he calls within the trio call again with Trenton's number on there. Answers the phone, and he's like, Roman, he's telling me crazy stuff about Kenny Payne. Instead, they start kind of like just telling me like a couple of things. Obviously, Trenton's out there figuring it out with the Clippers. You know, I think he's trying to do the 2-way thing, kind of like how Chucky's approaching right now with the Raptors. You know how David Johnson, Malik, We've got a lot of guys kind of do it. They're not really on the team fully, but they're a part of the organization basically. So we chat for a little bit. This is like the old friend of mine and him. They're like big gaming buddies. They stream together and play video games, a few different video games.
He and Trenton Flowers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically he's like, hey man, I do interviews, I do everything. I'm willing to do anything whenever, depending on what the questions are. As soon as I get established with a couple of things, though, I'd love to come back, have a real long, nice sit-down chat with you about all the things that I can talk about from my time when I was here. And I'm like, this is ideal right here. This is what we want.
I would enjoy this. Yeah.
I would really enjoy this. And he said, yeah, just, he needs a few months to get some things established with the Clippers and make sure he's in a good spot with them before he, potentially says some things that could potentially make other people upset. But he, feels like there's a lot of information that needs to be told to the Louisville fan base, and he's, interested in doing so when he gets into a right spot where he's safe to do so, basically. So I'm doing the field work, Mike. We're going to start gaming with Trenton, trying to see if I can get some tidbits. But we're also going to he said he'd come on the Real Spill live show. Probably, I think we're going to get him on next Monday. Just talk about his journey through college basketball and his time now in the NBA and figuring things out and hooping out there in LA, probably getting to meet Kawhi and Harden. Clippers are posting their media day stuff, and he's in all the videos. So we're going to get him on next Monday and chat about that, which that should be super fun and cool. Maybe just, some best moments, times from his games here in Louisville, if he has any. But yeah.
He didn't play here. Like 2 practices.
Oh, yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Kind of.
See if we can get any information about that. But, yeah, I'm excited to let you know that that's going to be the case. See if we can, what we can make happen.
I mean, the fact that he's the one who is kind of taking it on himself to reach out and say, there are things that I need to say, like, that's fascinating to me because, I kind of forgotten Trenton Flowers existed, if we're just being honest. He's a name from a bygone time that I've liked to remove myself from. But the fact that he's like, hey, because, he was a super popular, he was seen as sort of like the savior. He was like the Michael Brown of that era. The guy who was the great hope coming out of high school, the big-time prospect. He's the sign that things are going to be good. And then he practices twice and is like, yeah, I'm gone. This isn't going to work. I'm not going to play here. And yeah, there were some hard feelings. I think those hard feelings sort of dissipated once the team started playing and people were like, all right, I don't know exactly what went down, but I don't really blame him for not wanting to be a part of this. So I'm very interested to hear.
I don't know if we'll get any of that directly next Monday.
Not next Monday, but he said like once he gets stuff situated with the Clippers.
He come on the radio, remembers your name, so.
Yeah, he said, I hope Mike's not mad at me. I was like, no, man. Like, dude, trust me.
We're going to potentially get him on the radio here in the coming, I don't know. It's one of those things that if everything goes right for him, it could be here in a couple of weeks, honestly. But I would imagine it would take a handful of months before he'd feel confident in not having any repercussions from whatever he would say. Just because, there's people are connected still. People
can make some headlines.
Exactly. So
I feel like we now have a vested interest in Trenton Flowers getting his professional contract squared away.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we get this done? I got to get this guy on the radio.
Sign him. You need him.
On. Give him guaranteed money. Let's go.
Harden's old.
Who cares if he takes a run at a former Knicks assistant? It's going to be fine. Just let him say what he needs to say, for God's sake. Let the boy talk. Let's go.
But, yeah, that's super cool. Just to get somebody that's in the NBA scene also on the Real Spiel show as well will be awesome as well.
For sure.
To talk about what any cool stories he's gotten from his journey. So excited to maybe make that happen in the future as well here on the radio show with us.
Yeah, you texted me last night, and I'm like, oh, what's Roman up to? And then you were like, just get off FaceTime with Trenton Flowers. I was like, not what I was expecting. You could have given me a million guesses as to what you were texting me about last night, and I was like, how high am I? Is this really? Is this what Roman's talking about right now? What the hell's going on? And then you were like, yeah, he's got some thoughts. I was like, okay, didn't know you and Trenton were boys like that.
He told me a couple things last night. I'm not going to repeat anything yet, just because.
Oh,
don't want to. I'm not going to be the reason anything gets messed up for anybody.
Sure,
but really interested to hear what he has to say going forward when we are able to get him on.
Well, now
Letting the listeners know now.
now
Sorry
I've
to
already said.
I hate to tease that.
Well, you
but
just did. He told me some crazy.
it'll be cool
stuff,
in
man.
3 months when I'm like, Mike, listen to this call I recorded last night. Trent told me I could post this. All kinds of stuff, but hopefully going forward.
He didn't know how many points a 3-pointer was worth. I swear to God. It's like, oh my God. All right, let's get into it.
But yeah, we'll keep you updated on that.
All right, I'm excited about that. How was the rest of I know the knee getting the brace off is a big thing. Anything else exciting happening in your world? How was your Monday night? How's
It's good.
laid back Monday?
Yeah, not a whole lot going on a Monday night. Obviously, just watching a couple of games. I fell asleep early again last night. I've been going to sleep like before 11 and waking up at like eyes open at like 6:30, 7 a.m. just ready to go. So I didn't get into a whole lot of anything last night other than just kind of keeping the games on as a little bit of background noise. I kind of do Sunday and Monday, or I kind of grouped us into like a 48-hour reset for the week, not just on Sunday, not just on Monday either. So that's kind of, cleaning things up, picking things up on Monday. Got to go see my mom last night as well, which I'll be back to seeing her every day and stuff now. I can go home and stuff. So, yeah, feeling good.
Okay, good. I think I finally figured out what the password is that I need to watch. It only took me 15 minutes at the beginning of the show to figure out how to get logged back in here. We got a tie game, Roman. First game of the MLB playoffs.
Who is it? The Tigers?
The Tigers and the Guardians are tied at 1 in the top of the 7th, but the Tigers are threatening. I picked the Guards to win this series. I also have the Padres over the Cubs. Sorry, CFB. I've got the Yankees over the Red Sox. Sorry, Dylan. And I've got the Dodgers over the Reds. We'll see what happens, though. We'll you never know. It's crazy. I woke up this morning just beaming, just very excited, and I'm doing the thing right now. And every fan has gone through this, whether we're talking Louisville or one of your other teams, where you didn't have high expectations for the season, and you make it to a certain point, and you're like, this is all icing at this point. Like everything from this point forward is gravy. Like we're in the playoffs for the real playoffs. 2020 doesn't count for the first time since 2013, which we were in a 1-game wild card situation where we lost to the Pirates. So the first time we've been in like an actual series since 2012. It's been a long time. There was a lot different in my world in 2012. It was a lot different in all of our worlds in 2012. So I wake up and I'm like, I'm getting John dressed and ready for school, and I'm singing the cover your ears, Cubs fan Brian. I'm like revamping the Go Cubs Go song, and I'm like, go Reds go, Cincinnati, what do you say? Reds are gonna win today. I'm bouncing off the walls. I'm like, I don't even care. Obviously, I want them to win, but by God, we're playing the Dodgers. It's gonna be fun. If they go 2-out, it's still a great season. I can't wait to fast forward like 7 hours where I'm like, I swear to God, Matt McClain, I'd break your face in two if I had a chance. If you swing it one more 3-1 pitch out of the zone, like all of the whole everything is gravy, it goes out the window the moment the game starts. I mean, we've had this with NCAA tournaments in years past where it's like, 2015 is a perfect example. We go in, that team had kind of underachieved. We were surprised they got a 4 seed. And once we get to the Sweet 16, we're like, man, anything beyond this point is just icing on the cake. What a great run we've already had. This team's overachieved. And you get to the Elite Eight, and you're like, Mango, make 2 free throws for the love of God. What's wrong with you? And you get beaten. You don't go to the Final Four, and you feel like all is lost. And it still stings here over a decade later now at this point. So I'm sure that'll be me tonight. But for right now, I'm enjoying the build-up. I've watched like 3 hype videos today already. It's just exciting to have something outside of Louisville sports to be excited about at this point in the year, and I guess the Lions too. It's early in the NFL season. It's just nice. It's nice to be back in the playoffs, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come.
You're beaming today, Mike.
I'm beaming today. I'm feeling great. Now I have to go straight from here to Virginia's got like like once every couple months for her dance class that she does. They have like a live look-in for the parents where you can come and watch and see what they've been doing. So I'm going to have to take the jersey off for that. I don't know if the jersey's going to be appropriate.
I don't know. I think you can.
You think I can wear it?
I think so.
All right. We'll see if we. Yeah.
Big deal.
We'll see. I mean, I walked in, dropped John off at school. Like half the parents are wearing red stuff. A couple of the teachers are wearing red stuff. My girl, Miss Kiki, the gym teacher, she's like, I had a dream last night that we won. I was like, the series or just tonight's game? And she was like, tonight's game. I don't know about the rest of the series. I'm like, that's good enough. I'll take it. Let's rock, Hunter. You're back home. Let's feel good. But like every time that I've had this feeling and I've gotten so excited, I just think about 2010. I was in law school. I was your age, Roman, 25, trying to find my way in life, but realizing early on that I was not going to be a good law student, but still very excited about the Reds being in the playoffs and taking on the Phillies. I get out of class. I go straight to Skyline, grab myself some pregame conies. I go over to Mary's house when we were dating at this point. I'm like, here we go, Reds, let's go. I'm all hyped up. And we get no hit for first game of the playoffs by Roy Halladay. Second playoff second no-hitter in the history of professional baseball playoffs. And it was such a just absolutely terrible feeling. Had my first law school test that Friday, the research test. Knew that I did terrible on it. Go right over to my buddy's house to watch Game 3.
You were not beaming that week.
Was not beaming. Jay Bruce just whiffs on a line drive. We get swept by the Phillies. It was a terrible feeling. Every time that we have this build-up, Game 1 goes horrible. And we're facing Blake Snell tonight, who the last time he pitched against the Reds threw a no-hitter against the Reds. This was last year. Our offense sucks already. All I want in the first inning.
Padre when you did that?
I think it was with the Giants last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
Not the Pods, the Giants. I think he only spent 1 year in San Francisco. But yeah, he pitched a no-hitter against us the last time we faced him. And all I need is give me a seeing eye dribbler up the middle. We just need a hit in the first inning, and I'll be fine. I'm like, just make sure we don't get no hit. Let's not get a perfect game thrown against us. Let's not get fully embarrassed. I'm expecting to lose.
You like the lineup?
Well, I mean, no. the lineup's not out.
That's what I was like, it's out yet.
I hate what we're doing as far as the 26-man roster. I don't like that we kept Santiago Espinal, who's played he's had 3 at-bats, no starts in the last month. We didn't bring up, I'm nitpicking here a little bit, but we've got no quality left-handers coming out of the bullpen. We're going to use Lodolo out of the bullpen. But Sam Moll, who pitched for the Bats the last 3 weeks of the season, he owns Shohei Ohtani, Roman. Ohtani 1 for 10 against Sam Moll. And then I think Freddie Freeman's 0 for 2 with a walk. So he's our best left-hander to use against this lineup, which is loaded with right-handers. And we didn't put him on the roster, which makes no sense whatsoever.
That's weird.
Very weird. We kept Brent Suter, who's a left-hander who sucks. I guess he's the vibes guy. He has a great Terry Francona impersonation. He's not terrific at actually pitching, which is not ideal, but not crazy about the line. Also, I don't know why. I apologize, everybody, for just humor me for this segment. Francona said yesterday, we're throwing Hunter Green tonight, obviously. We're throwing Zach Littell tomorrow in Game 2 instead of Andrew Abbott. He's saving Abbott for Game 3. He's not changing the rotation for the postseason. He's keeping them in line with their usual starts. And the problem there is Littell has given up more home runs than any pitcher in Major League Baseball this season, and the Dodgers have hit more home runs than any team in Major League Baseball this season. If we lose tonight, it kind of feels like tomorrow is you're fighting an extreme uphill climb at that point in an elimination game. But like I said, it's all just icing. Trust me. I mean it. It's just gravy. We're happy to be here. But if they win today, you'll have an excited Mike on the show tomorrow. You'll have a Mike talking crazy on the show tomorrow, and I can't wait for it. Real quickly, quick update on the spread. I kind of was halfway expecting the spread for Saturday's game, which opened at 7 and has moved to Louisville minus 7.5. I kind of expected it to dip. It's holding pretty strong at 7.5, and I think now a lot of people are kind of looking at this and saying, is Chandler Morris fully healthy? Because he was definitely dinged up at the end of the Florida State game, and the spread makes a whole lot more sense if bettors are banking on him not being 100% for this game. Obviously, I don't think we'll hear anything from anybody associated with Virginia on the injury front until we get the ACC's injury report Thursday night and then again on Friday. But this is something to keep an eye on as the week progresses. I don't know how Virginia does coach availability, if they're one of the schools that does it multiple times during a week, but very curious. I think a lot of people have texted today to me personally over the last today and yesterday saying 7.5 seems pretty high for a team that's coming in nationally ranked, just beat Florida State, scores a lot of points against a Louisville team that still has a lot of questions. But computers love us, Vegas love us. I'll take it at this point. If they think we're a 7.5 point favorite, it makes me feel more confident about Saturday's game. We got lots to get to after the break. We had some basketball topics that we did not have a chance to touch on yesterday because we spent 3 hours talking about the Pitt victory, as we should have. We're going to rectify that after the break. A couple other things to get into. Keep it locked right here. Second segment up next here on Big X. Still a beat.
This was definitely Mike at the formal mixes.
No, this was before my time. This was not something. Thank you, Bill. This was not something that was. This was like third, fourth grade Mike listening to 99.7 DJX. That's what that song was. That was a little too. That was already outdated by the time it was mixers. I could have seen like in another life, little like 10-year-old Roman just bopping to that in the bathroom, sweatband around his head, just like looking in the mirror, just cut off sweatshirt, like one of those looks, like classic late 90s.
Sunglasses on,
no question about that. Just rolling, just having a good time, just loving life. Well, it still gets you going a little bit. Welcome back in. It's the 3 o'clock hour of the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical. Do want to remind you, United Mechanical and our guy, John Burke, they're your trusted partner for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration services. Give them a call any hour, any day at 502-339-1133. Did you watch any of the Monday Night Football last night?
Watched a bit.
I mean, I couldn't get into the games. Kind of stunk.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, the Dolphins uniforms were great, but that wasn't going to be enough to get me to watch a Dolphins-Jets 0-3 versus 0-3 game. And then the Broncos. I mean, the Bengals are they're toast. Jake Browning stinks out loud. they've got to go find another quarterback if they want it to be at all competitive this season. Jamar Chase going at it with Zach Taylor, it looked like, on the sidelines. I think he's probably like, hey, give me a quarterback. This is ridiculous. It was just a bad night all the way. Tyreek Hill's leg snapping.
And him being ecstatic about it.
I don't even know what to say about it. I want to say it's funny, but it's also very sad. Like,
his career's over.
Is it?
You
think?
He's 31 years old, torn ACL, multiple torn ligaments, including an ACL and a dislocated knee, and he relies on speed.
And he doesn't seem to care. What his contract it has like a $75 million guaranteed insurance or something like that. So, he has basically said, like, I hate this team. I don't want to play here. I think my quarterback stinks. I hate the head coach. He very clearly was unhappy in Miami, and he's being carted off again with a leg that just like was hanging there like a spaghetti noodle. It was a gruesome sight. I don't know why ESPN felt the need to show us a slow-mo replay after everybody. It wasn't like the Kevin Ware thing where nobody saw exactly what happened live. Everybody saw what happened as it was going on. They're like, let's look at this again and see. I was like, oh, my God. And then he's on the cart, like, laughing and screaming yes as he's being carted off. I mean, the jokes were already happening before he said it. Like, this is going to be, like, Tyreek Hill loves this. He's going to be, there's a blessing in disguise for him. And then he just goes ahead and makes the joke himself by cheering as he's being carted off. Two very weird cart incidents in the weekend of football with the Pitt guy cussing out our team and Tyreek Hill openly celebrating his gruesomely shattered leg. That was about the only notable thing last night that I felt like happened in Monday Night Football.
Yep, I'd say so.
And the Bengals stink.
Really bad. Browning looked worse than he did when he's had to play for Burrow and other times.
Looked terrible. I think he gave some hope to Bengals fans when he first came in the game where Burrow got hurt, played well enough. And then the last 2 weeks, it's been like, all right, we've got no hope here. This season's done. We're cooked. Our guys at Effian's messaging me now, trying to get on the show for tomorrow. I think we can make that happen.
Let's get him on.
I mean, the guy's been doing more media than like Trump this week. He's been everywhere.
I saw that he went from a linebacker to a fullback in high
school, and apparently played for like one of the better high school programs in Tennessee. And I did like the fact there was a story on him today from The Athletic. They did a feature on him talking about how he had most, I think, high school players who play at a program like the one that he went to, like locally, if you play for Trinity or St. X or Manual or Male, or you have this idea that if you're like a starter on those teams, like I'm good enough to play big time in college. And I think it takes a while, probably like deep into your senior year, before you realize like, oh, maybe I'm not that good. And he would ask the schools that he toured, he would say, what are the potential avenues for me to get on the football staff as an equipment manager? And people were like, well, I don't know. Like that's not a question we typically get when we're doing these tours. And he went to Louisville, and it was the exact opposite. They were like, we know exactly who to put you in touch with. They put him in touch with I think Tim Connell's his name, Ed Connell, who runs that thing. He got in touch with Jeff Brom. They talked to him, and he was like, all right, good to go. And that kind of sold him on coming here to Louisville. It's a cool story. I mean, the kid knew what he wanted to do. He knew what he was focused on, and he's come here. And now for 4 years, he's been a part of the football program, and he's gotten to do some cool things. So glad that he got his moment in the sun. Hopefully it does shine a light on the entire equipment staff, because those guys, they absolutely do the grunt work. They do the dirty work. They don't get enough love for what they do. I mean, driving across the country, the equipment staff last year having to drive all the way to Stanford was insane.
Ridiculous.
And they do it for every game. They got to do what they got to do. And now stories like this, they do go a long way towards, I think, shedding some positive light on that, which is very cool. We'll get back to football momentarily. I do want to talk about a couple of things that we didn't have a chance to discuss yesterday as far as basketball is concerned. First of all, this is actually news from today, but we got Media Day next week in the ACC, which feels early, but whatever. We're about a month out. 5 weeks from yesterday is opening day in college basketball, so we're a lot closer than you think. The two representatives that are going with Pat Kelsey for Louisville next week at ACC Media Days have been named. Javon Hadley, no-brainer. The second one, Roman, Ryan Conwell. What do you think about that?
A bit interesting. I'm not too surprised just because he is obviously one of the older guys who's been in these kind of atmospheres before already, knows how to say the right things. I feel like you had a couple of other returning players you also could have sent that. Just surprised that it was a transfer guy, really.
I kind of was too. I thought you wouldn't expect it to be Kanai because he's a sophomore, still a little bit young, and wasn't a star or anything like that.
Yeah, Kobe Rogers, Ali Khalifa.
I thought
Pryor.
maybe if you'd asked me to guess, I would have said Ali Khalifa just because been in the program now for a couple of years. He's got experience at a major program before this, playing at BYU. He is, I think, really engaging, really insightful. Thought that maybe he would be the guy. This, I think, I don't want to read too much into it. I think it does give some insight, though, into kind of what's going on from the leadership aspect behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because first week of practice, Ryan Conwell's got the gold jersey on. One of the most recent video they did showed Ryan Conwell during their football field workouts carrying the dumbbells like all the way back. All he had to do was get to the goal line, and he's making a statement by carrying
everybody up.
Yeah, all the way into the tunnel. It's very clear that
Kevin Keats had him on his notable leader.
Yeah,
selection.
Of course, he had like 6 guys on there. I was like, okay, who isn't a leader on this team? But I think he also had him as like a guy who can defend. He very clearly is somebody that they're looking at to be one of the faces of this year's team, both when it comes to leadership and actual production. I think we expected that. I think there are a lot of people that are expecting him to be the team's leading scorer. He was a high-level scorer at Xavier last year, was sensational in their biggest games, is a terrific shooter, seems like a perfect fit for this offense. And then you add in the leadership aspect, and I think it's pretty clear they think very highly of Ryan Conwell getting ready for the season. And I think he's a guy that we've kind of penciled in as like he's going to be pretty good, but nobody is out there talking about him being like first team all ACC good or superstar good. And maybe he's got more of that potential than we're giving him credit for. But I thought it was interesting that he was the guy that they're sending along with Javon Hadley to rep the program next week in Charlotte. But we'll talk more about that as we get closer to. They actually call it ACC tip-off?
Yeah.
Get out of my face. It's media day. At least it's better than Project Basketball, which is what they used to call it, which was maybe the dumbest thing in the history of the world.
That's terrible.
Absolutely awful. Absolutely ridiculous. But the big story from yesterday on the basketball front, via Matt Norlander, we now know what our plans are for Thanksgiving week for the next 4 years, Roman. So starting in 2026, Louisville's going to participate in the new Players Era Festival, the tournament that launched last year. It had 8 teams last season. It's going to have 18 teams this season. Right now, it's got 24 inked for the 2026 season. They're planning on getting to 32 teams. It's the tournament that happens in Vegas where there's guaranteed money for NIL. Every team that participates as of right now gets $1 million. There's a bonus $1 million prize that goes to the winner. They're pooling. I think in the future there's going to be more money tossed around. It went very well last season. If you talk to all the coaches, all the players, Oregon beat Alabama, I think, to win the championship. And Dana Altman talked after the tournament about how we were able to boost every player on the team's NIL package with the money that we made from this tournament. He's like, it was a no-brainer to go back. So we signed a 4-year contract to play in this thing from 2026 through 2029. The purist in me hates the fact that we're seeing diminished fields in tournaments like the Maui Invitational and the Battle for Atlantis, and the fact that that's probably going to continue. Now, Maui's field, I think, after this year looks better than the 2025 one does. The Battle for Atlantis is struggling. Like this year's field, and I mean no disrespect to these programs, but you've got, I think, Western Kentucky and VCU and Wichita State. It's becoming kind of a mid-major tournament. And that sucks because just a few years ago, you had, I think, 6 preseason top 25 teams played in the Battle for Atlantis. And we've played in Atlantis 3 times. We played in there last year. We've loved the tournament. But the fields are really taking a gigantic hit, mostly because of the Players Era Festival. If we are trying to position the program for success moving forward, this is the best thing to do. These are where all of the best teams are going to go from now, I think, until another rival NIL tournament pops up in November. This is a big-time deal. $1 million is not chump change to spread around through your program. and the potential to earn more by playing well in this tournament, being out there as kind of a carrot is also a huge deal. You're playing high-level teams. The the co-founder of this event, whose son I think plays college basketball at Lafayette, his last name is Renner, he was saying he wants this to be, in horse racing terms, the first leg of the Triple Crown, with the second two legs being conference tournaments and then the NCAA tournament. He wants this to be like the way that back in the day the preseason NIT used to be, where it felt like you were almost crowning an early season national champion. And they're not there yet, but last year's event went very well. I think this year's event is loaded. You've got 18 teams that are playing every single game on national television for 4 days across Thanksgiving week. Now you're going to have 32 teams in 2026. Again, the purist in me feels bad about this. The Louisville fan in me recognizes that it's the right thing to do for the program and gives credit to Pat Kelsey, Josh Hurd and company for making sure that we're one of those teams that's included. Roman, your thoughts on us being a part of the Players Era Festival for 4 years straight starting next season?
I think this is a really big deal, Mike. I love this because, for one, it's just automatic extra money for the program and the players that I would imagine it gets allocated to all the, let's just give everybody extra money, more than we promised them because we're getting an extra $1 million. That's nice. That incentive in recruiting. We're going to give you this, but we've also got this tournament. This is a little bit extra money for us. It's something like an amenity that will kind of be had just for being on the team. Also, Mike, I don't know if this is just the nerd in me or whatever. At the very start of your season, you're going to have all of your guys playing as hard as they possibly can because they know that this can mean more money for them if they go and win this thing. I think that's super cool when, the non-conference slates have been changing more and more the last couple of years, teams making them more intense, non-conference teams each and every year. I still think, though, that getting the Quad 1 opportunities that early in the season will be very big. Getting battle-tested early to see how you stack up against teams that are projected to be where you want to be in the end of the season is big. Also, you can't trust the ACC, Mike. You can't trust you're going to get the Quad 1 opportunities in the ACC. So this could be, in the next couple of years, at least how things currently stand, until some coaches find their groove and make things happen in their current programs and funding gets up because the coaches start getting trusted with the new coaches and old coaches start getting moved out and stuff. The ACC is going to be wavering probably for the next couple of years in terms of how many of these teams are actually going to be consistently good for the entirety of a season. That's a big deal, too. When, we felt like we were one of the two best teams in the ACC last year and still had to be an 8th seed. This could be something that helps prevent that kind of issue going forward.
It's a great point because, we're not playing in one of those Feast Week tournaments this season. And as a result of that, the non-conference schedule is still great because we went out there, we reached out to a number of high-level programs, and we're able to schedule them. There's no guarantee. I think the fear is if we're in that position again moving forward, and if we weren't able to get into this event or one of the other big tournaments, with 32 teams now playing in this, with 8 taken up by Maui, and I think there's a new NIL tournament that's launching. You get about 50 of the best teams in college basketball that are going to be playing in these events. If you're not playing in these events, it's going to be really difficult to schedule those types of teams. So you're guaranteed essentially 3 really tough games in this event. And like you said,
like 4.
Is it 4 now?
I think it's 4.
I know you play. Last year it was 3. It may be 4 across 5 days. However many it is. You're guaranteed to play a quality opponent every time you step on the floor. And like you said, we all think the ACC is going to bounce back. There's no guarantee that it does. We may, Pat Kelsey is banking on it not being great this season, which is why we've got 7 games against power conference opponents or power-ish conference opponents if you count Memphis State, who's not, whatever they are. Yeah. Thank you for the chuckle. You got to schedule aggressively until you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that the ACC is going to be back in the form that it was 5-10 years ago. And this is a way to guarantee that. And all of that is, I think, secondary to the financial component. Because let's be real. If we weren't guaranteed to play high-level games in this tournament, but they were saying you're guaranteed to make $1 million and you could potentially have an extra $1 million if you win it, it would still be worth our time to play in this tournament.
Yep.
Like $1 million is, in the revenue sharing era where schools have $20.5 million out there to dole around. Most high-level programs, like 70% of that at least is going to football. In most programs, more of it is going to football. So you're talking the leftovers for basketball is like, even with programs like Louisville, it's, $3 million, maybe $4 million, and then you've got to go round up. If you want more, you got to go round up from second parties, third parties, and figure out ways to scrape out additional
Which we do a
money.
good job of.
And, yeah, exactly. But there's no guarantee that that's going to continue. Like right now, people are willing to go in their pockets because this is still new, this is still fresh.
That extra $100 million might can mean the difference from you getting a recruit from somebody who's going to go get, we want to give him $80,000. He doesn't want that because this school is giving him $120,000 and he can start over here.
Absolutely.
At some, lower conference school. Well, actually, we can give you a little bit more now.
Let's say, so just looking at because like I said, the Maui Invitational field this year, it kind of stinks. The 2026 field that they just announced a couple weeks ago is better. You've got Arizona, BYU, Clemson, Colorado State, Ole Miss, Providence, VCU, and Washington. Still not great. But you've got a couple of teams out there that have been, so let's say that we're in a bidding war with Arizona, which has happened before. And we're both going after some player in the portal 2 years from now. We got an extra $1 million that you don't have because you played in Maui and we played in the PEF. That can absolutely be the difference between landing a kid who makes a gigantic difference for you in the next season and not, and having a gigantic hole in your roster. So wherever you can, anything you can do to bring in a 7-figure paycheck, you got to do at this point. And
also seeming like top-level opponents are a thing in traditional recruiting that's seeming like a more important factor now. These guys want to go to teams that are going to let them play and also play against opponents that are good.
Yeah, no question about it. Also, there's something nice about having the certainty of where the team is going to be years in advance. If fans want to spend Thanksgiving week in Vegas, you got ample time to plan for that. If you're like, hey, we can't make it happen in 2026, but let's put this on the books for 2027 or 2028. Vegas is for a lot of people a nice place to spend Thanksgiving week. So could be fun. Could be a fun thing for the fan base moving forward as well. Let's talk about the other big basketball topic that we didn't have time to touch on yesterday, which is Josh Hurd now speaking publicly for the first time about the efforts to go get the 2013 National Championship banner back from the NCAA. Talk with Eric Crawford about this. And then our guy Tim Sullivan. You can't keep him away. He's still out there reporting. He wrote a story for the Kentucky Lantern with direct quotes from Josh Hurd. He reached out to the NCAA as well, by the way, and the NCAA refused to comment because they're cowards. And they're busy. It's vacation time for them. Sports are on, so they're just, nobody's doing anything. They don't actually work during this time. But Josh Hurd, the quotes that are out there, and this is for you, Riddler, being so hard on Josh Hurd. Here's what he had to say. Quote, I think the Michigan case is the first case where we can really point to the precedent and say, we've been treated unfairly. You have an institution that actively put a scheme together to gain a competitive advantage by cheating, but the NCAA didn't take their championship banner away. That seems very unfair. I mean, he's making no bones about it at this point. He's like, look, some tawdry stuff happened at U of L, but we gained no advantage from it. They took our banner away anyway. Michigan very clearly cheated to gain an on-field advantage, and nothing is being done as far as taking away records or championships or anything like that. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 here. This is silly. Give us our damn banner back. They go on. He talks with other people. He talks with some attorneys. He talks with Sullivan talks with some other NCAA folks who aren't directly affiliated with the NCAA anymore about why Louisville may have been treated differently than Michigan. And then he gets back to Hurd. Hurd says basically the same thing. They had strippers in the dorm room. From a morality standpoint, not a good look. From an extra benefit standpoint, from a directly impacting a game standpoint, irrelevant. So you're going to tell me that a program can devise a plan to actively find a way to get a competitive advantage, and that's not going to be punished as much as we were. I mean, I think this is what he's echoing what we've all been yelling since the Michigan ruling came out. And now he's trying to soften some folks up. Here's the quote, Roman. I think the leadership of the NCAA right now is very reasonable. I think they understand that college athletics has changed dramatically. And so, do I think there's an opening? Yes, I do. This is the classic like Disney movie where you've got a bad guy, and the princess is like this is Jasmine, sort of like, shouldering up to Jafar and being like, I didn't know that you could be so handsome. Like, you should be sold as like a distraction, trying to like cushion the blow there. Like, this is Josh Hurd. He's like, he's doing this is going to be a bad comparison because of what we're talking about. He's doing the stripper thing where you come in and they're like, we had some guys in here before that were just total losers. Thank God you guys are in here. You guys are super cool. And you're like, oh, man, they really like us. Take all of our ones. This is what he's doing with the NCAA. It's a reverse stripper thing. He's saying
doing the reverse stripper thing.
He's pulling the reverse stripper. He's saying, the past leadership, they didn't know what they were doing. They weren't reasonable. Those guys were crazy. You guys,
they've got some level-headed guys up there now.
You guys are cool. You guys are so smart compared to your predecessors. You know what's going on. I'm sure we can see eye to eye at some point in time. It's a smart thing to do. And in the final quote, he says, when he's asked about what exactly the next step forwards are, let's ask the appropriate questions before we go into it full. I guess I'll call it whatever it takes mode. I've never been an advocate of we'll just sue our way to getting what we want. It doesn't feel like that's the right way to go. I want to have all of the appropriate conversations and see if we can get to a place where we can all agree. This is very much I don't want to have to sue. But the fact that he's even bringing it up says to me, the implication is, but we will, right?
Yep.
We let's handle this like adults. There's very clearly a discrepancy between the way that Louisville was treated however many years ago the ruling officially came down. I think it was, 2017,
It's like the old grade school teacher thing. I don't want to call your mom, but they've already called before, so you know that they will. Yeah, unless you straighten up.
Let's not have to bring your parents into this. That's basically what he's saying here. It's a good comparison. Let's handle this like adults. Reasonable adults can look at this and say Louisville was treated unfairly compared to the rulings that have happened in the years that have transpired since. So what do we do about this? We don't want to go to court where you guys are 0-1,052 over the past 10 years. So why don't we just sit down and let's find a way that we can all come to an agreement where part of that agreement includes us getting our banner back. And if you don't want to do that, we can take it to court.
Court again.
And then we can do it that way. And you can spend money and we can spend money. And at the end of the day, the final result is going to be the exact same. We're going to get the banner back one way or the other. It's a matter of how you want it to happen. Do you want it to happen? I think the NCAA also has to realize now that pretty much the entirety of the sporting public thinks that vacation of records punishments are dumb. And we'll get some crap from rival fans and all this stuff, but the reality is almost everybody is like, what the NCAA has done is stupid. I think that if you polled every American sports fan and said, do you think Louisville should have their 2013 banner back, a healthy majority would say yes. It would be a rare public win for the NCAA to come to some sort of agreement where they're in control, but Louisville still ends up getting the banner back, as opposed to like us having to go through the courts and rip it away from them kicking and screaming and seeing them curled up in the fetal position after having taken a billionth loss in a row. So this is what Josh is saying to me. Like, let's do it the way where you guys can save some face. It'll be easier for us as well. And if you don't want to do it that way, then we're willing to do what needs to be done to get it back and to embarrass you guys even further. This, to me, I mean, like he says, he says, I don't want to go into whatever it takes mode. The fact that he's even bringing that up says to me that he is willing, if it comes down to it, to go into whatever it takes mode. And that's comforting.
That is very comforting, Mike, but isn't there something in you that feels like we already are rightfully in the position to be in whatever it takes mode?
For sure. Like, I mean, if I'm AD, and I'm not, thankfully, I would have put the banner back up the second the Michigan ruling came down and said, like, let's go to court. Like, we're playing hardball. I understand, though, why Josh is more hesitant.
He's more mature than us.
He's more fit. This is going to shock people. He's better suited for that job than I am. And, he recognizes the basketball is finally on stable footing. And why would you want to rock the boat at that point in time if you don't have to? But if we have to, we will. Let's take a break. When we come back, Game Day Men's Health text line time. Your thoughts at 502-414-1450. Whatever's on your mind, get it out here on a Tuesday, and we're going to read it after the break. This is the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, 1450 96.1 WBNA Channel 21, Big X Sports Radio.
Crack Sporting Goods is Southern Indiana's
I'm going to break this TV with my bare hands. I'm going to smash it like one of those fake YouTube videos where they act like they're reacting to something, but it's a setup. I mean, it keeps telling me I'm logged in, and it will not work. And it says, congratulations, you're logged in. It just takes me right back to sign in with TV provider. This is ridiculous. It's outrageous. I can't stand this. I've also got another bone to pick listening during the break. Why don't we have a Kentucky roll call promo with Nick Roush on it anymore? He's not Big X anymore. He ain't Big X.
I was wondering the same thing.
He's out of the gang.
You get producer Matt on there.
He's not rocking the colors anymore. He's out. If you're not in the game, you're not in the game. You can't sit with us anymore. You're out of here. Do we know who TJ's going to have as a permanent fill-in, or is he just going to
I
have
think they have an idea. I don't know if I'm supposed to.
Oh, okay. How do you know everything before I know?
Yeah.
it's just.
And then I forget to tell you.
And then you don't tell me. I don't know anything. Is it like another Kentucky fan, or is it gonna be like?
I think it's Stephen Peak.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know if it's like every day or what they're trying to figure out. Me too. Yeah, it's a great addition. I think he's already on the show weekly, so
yeah,
one day a week.
We have to start taking runs at him though. I might start researching Peak's tweets.
He's had some pretty aggressive UK takes.
Has he?
Yeah. He had one basketball take a few weeks ago, or I think actually before football season started officially, about the UK U of L game. I don't know. I think it was like they're going to blow us out and they're going to be way better than us or something this year, or something like that. I don't remember.
That Louisville's going to be way better than Kentucky?
No, Kentucky's going to beat us handedly and be way better than us.
Well, that's just, I don't think that's accurate. Would love to get
We'll have to ask him.
Would love to revisit that take at this point in time. Andy Katz, Roman, has come out with his preseason top 10 as far as the toughest places to play in college basketball. You want to see this?
I haven't seen it.
Number 1.
Let me guess. I'll guess number 2.
Number 1 is Allen Fieldhouse, Kansas Jayhawks. We'll see it in exhibition play coming up next year. You want to guess number 2?
Number 2 is Indiana.
Indiana is not on the list. Cameron Indoor Stadium, Duke, number 2. You're going to love this. Mackey Arena, Purdue, number 3. And then this is the one that I'm like, all right, come on, man. I know you love Rick. I know that Patino's got it rolling there. He's got Madison Square Garden as number 4. Madison Square Garden is not the fourth toughest arena to play in college basketball. It's a pro arena. Come on. It's not St. John's fan. It's a wine and cheese crowd. It's an NBA crowd from New York. The students don't fill that place up. It's not number 4 on the list. That's ridiculous. Whatever. He also has Bucky Badger as the number 1 mascot in college basketball. He's a Big Ten honk, Big Ten homer. That's all he is. We used to work for him.
What do you think the hardest place to play is?
The hardest place to play in college? I mean, I think it's Cameron Indoor. The case for Allen Fieldhouse is that they, according to all the data, get the friendliest whistle in college basketball by a wide margin when they play at home. So I think that those are justified 1 and 2, for sure. I put the McHale Center up there when Arizona gets a big-time crowd. I think it's a very tough place to play. Hilton Coliseum for Iowa State. They have Hilton Magic there. Very tough place to play as well. But I don't have any qualms with 1 and 2 on his list. Mackey for big games is pretty good. I think 3 is a little bit too high, but that's me. Game Day Men's Health text line is 502-414-1450. That's the number to weigh in. Questions, comments, concerns, topic ideas, whatever you got, we'll take them. Game Day Men's Health is redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com to find out how they're defining a new era in men's health. Let's get to it. 502-414-1450. This must be the day where we're giving the automated responses because all the texts are green that we've got here. Or no, I guess that's the opposite, right? They'd be white. They'd be white. Okay.
Yeah.
Roman Hader sent in a story about the Virginia and NC State playing the home and home. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. How Virginia has a conference loss, but it's they have a loss to a conference opponent, but it's not a conference game. They're doing the same thing next year. Those two teams will play another non-conference game as a direct result of, I think, Indiana buying out of the Virginia series and UVA still wanting to play a non-conference game against a power conference opponent and not another bye game. So it's a weird thing. They lost on the road to an NC State team that's not been very good since that game, but they're still 2-0 in the ACC. This is a remarkably important game for the conference race. I mean, Virginia fans, I saw, and they exist besides Lachlan McClain, I saw a handful of them on Twitter talking about how this game kind of makes or breaks their season. If they win this one, they're a legit top 25 team. It's not just a flukish win over a good Florida State team at home in a big-time environment. We're right in the thick of this race. We got a chance to be a playoff team. And if they lose, they feel like, we're kind of frauds. I don't want to say frauds, but we're not a realistic contender to play in the conference championship game. The Riddler texted in. Riddler here. How's it going, Mike and Roman? I'm here with some basketball takes. 1, I'm really excited about the Sully article on Hurt. Sounds like we're strong-arming them to avoid a lawsuit fee, but willing to hit the nuclear button if needed. 2, this is going to sound like Cope, but I'm glad Tay Kinney isn't coming. He didn't seem much better than Jasper Johnson talent-wise, and the 6'7" thing was going to be annoying. 3, I'm bummed that we're deprioritizing Stokes, and I think that's a mistake. Hope something happens that gets us back in the running. Take the Vegas money and let him have it all. Adidas needs to step up, or GTFO. Let's move to Nike, Josh. Lastly, when do these damn Kroger basketball posters drop? I need one like I need air.
Yeah, I'm ready for the Kroger basketball poster.
I feel like it's usually the beginning of October, so it should be relatively soon.
I feel like we're not interested in being in the Stokes money category.
I don't think we're interested in being in the Stokes game. I'm very curious to see what happens with Tyron Stokes, because it could wind up being a gigantic miscalculation. If, in fact, he wanted to play here and we kind of were like, we're not going to pay you what you want, and we're not. The general thing going around is that, some schools, despite his talent, are just not that interested because of some maturity issues and some other stuff, and they think that, it's not worth it when it comes to building culture. You can get more beneficial college players from the portal that are better culture fits and more willing to sacrifice self for team, all that stuff. And I wonder if it's going to kind of be the D'Angelo Russell situation from almost exactly 10 years ago, where, he's a guy with local ties, same kind of situation. Grew up around here. I think he left town much later than Stokes did. But played his freshman season, I think, at Central, and then went and played prep school basketball, left the city, but grew up a Louisville fan, had kind of wanted to play at Louisville. But it gets down to it. He has a conversation with Rick Pitino, and he's making demands that Rick Pitino just simply is not going to meet. And Pitino's like, all right, go along your way, and get what you want out of the college experience. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to guarantee starting spots. We're not going to guarantee what you want. And so he goes to Ohio State. He puts up flashy highlights. He makes himself a certified, can't miss, high NBA draft pick. And his team loses in the first round of the tournament. We go to the Elite Eight, and it's kind of like, all right, we both got what we wanted out of the situation. But people still were like, if we just had D'Angelo Russell, we could have won it all. And this became a talking point where I think the coaching staff's opinion was, if we had D'Angelo Russell, we wouldn't have been as good. It would have wrecked the chemistry. It would have wrecked what we tried to do. He wasn't going to play defense here. And we simply cannot have a personality like that in our program. And I kind of think that that's sort of the way that Pat Kelsey and company are thinking right now. Maybe it winds up being a miscalculation. Maybe Stokes goes to Kentucky or Oregon or wherever and is the star of a national championship team. But I'm very curious to see how that whole thing plays out, because it sounds like we're kind of like, all right, we're not going to pay that money, and we had some questions about this whole thing as well. I think they genuinely wanted to take Kenny, but Roman, I can't find myself getting overly upset about high school players not picking Louisville anymore, just because of the way that the sport is. I think you still need to recruit high school players. I disagree with Rick Pitino when he says I wouldn't take a 5-star. I don't care who it is. I think Michael Brown is going to play a huge part in whatever success we have this season. I think that it's great to have a handful of players that you're able to develop over the course of 2 or 3 years that the fan base gets to really know and that get really acclimated to your system and can kind of help spread the culture to the new players. But when it comes down to missing on a high-level high school basketball player, it's not the same level of disappointment as it was 10 years ago, because back then there was no way to have an immediate replacement for that kid. If you were going to get a transfer player, that guy had to sit out a season before you were able to use him. Now it's like, okay, we can probably, maybe they're not as naturally talented as you are, but we can go out there and find a guy who's played 2 or 3 years of high-level college basketball. And
we can go find a pro guy who's
we can find a guy
played way more basketball than you for half the money.
It's just not I would have loved to have gotten Kenny. If we don't get Colvin Landrew, I'll be very disappointed. It's just not like it used to. I can't find myself getting too worked up over, and it's the same when you sign a kid. I think Michael, when we signed him, I was excited, but I wasn't
for him to be my favorite Louisville player of all time by any means.
Yeah, and look, admittedly, I think that Michael has proven to be better than we maybe even thought he was when he signed here. He's had a hell of a year since that commitment, since the signing. So the enthusiasm, I think, is higher now than it was when he first was on our radar. But even if it was that high, I would have been like, cool, like this is great. but it's not like it used to be where this is like a week-long celebration when you land a 5-star kid or a high 4-star that you're really excited about. All I'm saying is it's different now.
It is. I also think that like it's especially different with guards, Mike. Guards can need so much work and so much time before they're actually producing at a high level or before they're consistently helping you more than they're hurting you. And, it's a player like Stokes with his size and his position, his kind of versatility on the wing and down low and with the ball in his hands, like that kind of player and that kind of skill set being from your town, you really want to kind of get those, like the Corbin Landrew builds. That's the kind of player that you can really go and do a lot with. Guards, they got to have the ball in their hands to be the most productive, and you've got to teach them all the things that they've got to do in your system. It feels like it's almost smarter to go and get a guard can come and play in this system versus risking a lot of money on somebody you've got to teach a lot. Versus, wing players in this kind of a system, Mike, they kind of should be able to just slot right in. If you can defend well, if you can run well, and you can shoot, you can play here.
I agree.
That's not really the case for point guards. You got to be able to do a little bit more than that to in my opinion, with what I saw in the first year with Chucky Hepburn and what the offense looked like when the ball was being initiated in anybody else's hands. Point guards here are going to have to do a lot, Mike. So I'm not really worried about missing out on point guards, quote unquote point guards. I mean, I've said it. Kenny is a score first talent. He has not a lot of experience in getting all of his teammates involved in a high level basketball play.
No, I totally agree. I think it's well said. Texas says, I'm so excited. On Thursday, we're driving to Texas, and I get to see Sabrina Carpenter and the Strokes. I'm jealous. So freaking hyped. What's the longest overnight drive you've done, and how the heck do I survive 15 hours on the road to Texas? Besides your pod, of course. Thank you, Dave, teacher from Jeffersonville. Overnight drive, I think I drive overnight to Hilton Head every year when we do it. It's like 10-ish hours.
10 hours probably.
A little bit less. I've done, just like standard drive. I did Carroll, Iowa, to and from. I did New Orleans. And then from New Orleans to Hilton Head, which was terrible. So I don't think ever 15. I think 12 is like the longest solo drive I've done, or just pure drive that I've done. 15's wild. That's long. Godspeed. I hope Sabrina gives a nice position when she sings Juno for you. That's the hype. But the Strokes I would love to see. Texas, hey Mike, on the Bobby 2.0 two times thing, one thing I've always found odd after his time here is how many fans still hold him in reverence, especially to other coaches. For example, compare him to Rick, and I think you have a higher rate of fans who don't like Rick rather than Bobby. I don't get it, especially since Petrino flubbed the Lamar era by not having an offensive line and running off a decent defensive coordinator, then absolutely cratered the program, not caring at all his final year, and walked away with a $14 million buyout, which was by far the highest we've ever paid, and almost twice as much as the Payne buyout. Meanwhile, Rick won us a title and even dropped his wrongful termination lawsuit that he would have likely won. It always amazed me how Petrino, in retrospect, has been looked at more fondly than Rick, or even how Strong left when Bobby absolutely cratered the program and took a massive sum of $14 million out the door. I'm not sure that that's accurate. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know. I kind of feel like more people dislike Bobby than dislike Rick. I mean, Rick was clearly the bigger figure here. Like you said, won a national championship. And then the way that he left was so, I know Petrino leaving was high profile, but Petrino having it be a scandal, and then we also just dealt with the fallout of Petrino for so long. If the program had been able to just kind of keep moving, I think people would have let bygones be bygones way earlier. But when, Chris Mack had his issues and then the Kenny Payne disaster, there was always going to be that discussion about how much does Rick deserve the blame for this? How much of this is on him? How much of this is on us? And so it kind of became a whole thing. I think just personality-wise, people probably dislike Bobby more than Rick.
That's what I was going to say.
But Bobby is, Petrino is he's one of the, Petrino himself is super complicated. But Petrino's won a lot about Bobby Petrino. The two highest-ranked teams in the history of the program, 04 and 06, Petrino teams. First BCS game of the BCS era, under Petrino. Most dynamic offense in 04, under Petrino. Lamar Jackson winning the Heisman, under Petrino. Yes, there's a ton of bad stuff, but there's a lot of good stuff there as well. Like it's just it's. I think everyone agrees that he was an ass and is an ass. Like there's no question about that. Like everyone is. Even when he came back, people were like, "Yeah, he's an a-hole, but he's our a-hole. We just need to win football games. That's the most important thing right now." And people were fine with him being an a-hole until he stopped winning football games at a high enough level. But yeah, I mean, I think when you look back, the Lamar Heisman was supposed. It very easily could have gone hand in hand with Lamar winning the Heisman and us competing for a playoff spot and having another top 10 finish, and it didn't. And I think those years now have aged extremely poorly. Because when you look at what Lamar's done in the pros, you look at what Jair Alexander's done in the pros, you look at what some of the other guys on that 2015, 2016, 2017 teams have done, and you're like, how the bleep did we never win 10 games with those guys? You know? The 2016 season was great for the first 10 weeks, and then we get hammered by Houston, we get stunned by Kentucky, and we get embarrassed in our bowl game, and that season's it's never going to be looked at as anything other than the Lamar season anymore, because we cratered at the end of the year. And then 2017, we have a all-time bad defense. The offensive line stinks. We only win 8 games with the greatest player to ever come through this program and one of the greatest college football players of all time. And yeah, like in the end, I think the whole Lamar era winds up reflecting poorly on Bobby Petrino. So it's complicated to talk about.
Achieved, Mike.
I think you have to say that now. Like, to not win 10 games once with Jair Alexander and Lamar Jackson is almost unforgivable, especially when you consider, like, we weren't playing a murderer's row schedule. Our non-conference schedule in those years was not ridiculously tough. I mean, I know Houston had Ed Oliver, and they were super talented. It's Houston, for God's sake. It wasn't like you lost a road game to Alabama. You lost to Alabama in 2018, and then you lost to everybody else you played in 2018. So he's a complicated figure to talk about. But the Bobby 2.0 thing is hilarious. The fact that he acted like he wasn't prepared for this, and then the instant that he gets the job, he's like, "You're out, you're out, you're out." This guy that Colby Smith, you're the offensive coordinator. This guy that I'm directly related to, you're back on the staff. This guy, he's defensive coordinator. He was ready for this. He's been waiting for this for 3 years, and now it's finally his time to shine. And you know, like, this man will never coach harder than he's about to coach, because he wants that. Like, this is his opportunity to be a Power 4 conference coach again. And if he doesn't maintain this job, if he doesn't get it on a full-time basis, he's probably not getting another shot, you know?
Yep.
He's going to have to go back to, the Missouri States of the world and, coordinator jobs. He wants to have one last moment in the sun as the front man of a big-time program, and he's going to do everything in his power to, make these last 2 months of Arkansas season as successful as he can. What's their schedule look like? They don't play this week. So he's got a bye week to prepare, which is why I think a lot of people thought that this was going to happen if they lost to Notre Dame, and then them losing so handily was a no-brainer. They play at Tennessee in 2 weeks. It's a tough game. If they're competitive there, I think it looks pretty good on him. They play A&M, who's number 6 in the country after that, and then Auburn, Mississippi State, and then they end at LSU, at Texas versus Missouri.
Sheesh.
If he beats like 2 ranked teams and then beats the 2 unranked teams and goes, that'd be 4-3 to end the season, gets them to a bowl game at 6-6, I bet they give him the job. Anything less than I think you're going to – I mean, the boosters there love him. Arkansas has been kind of duty since he left. He took them to the Cotton Bowl. They had their best year. They were kind of like us when we brought him back. Their best years over the past 50 years have mostly had to do with him. And they're desperate to win. They're hungry to win. They want to have their moment in the sun in the SEC. So money talks, wins talk. And I think that they believe best case scenario is they keep Bobby Petrino and let him coach for the next 5-6 years until he gets beaten up by another person whose wife he's having an affair with.
That game against Houston, Mike?
Yeah.
2016.
Awful.
For some reason, in terms of Louisville football, I guess maybe just the games that I paid attention to and also had an understanding of what the games meant, that's like my most disappointing loss in my Louisville football fandom.
I picked,
how I felt going into that.
I picked us to lose that game, but us getting blown out was a shock. There were bad vibes all over the place.
Wasn't that our first real test of the year?
Well, we lost at Clemson in that the close game, the Lamar Deshaun Watson game. We'd beaten Florida State badly when they were number 2. So we'd beaten, but we had kind of been flirting with it the last couple of, we'd had the closer the game than it should have been game against Duke. We had the Wake Forest game where the score looked pretty, but we were actually losing going into the fourth quarter. We hadn't been playing great football. And Houston, they had all these great players, but they just got bored in the middle of their season because they weren't playing anybody good. They knew that this was their moment, and us having to play down there on a Thursday night was just, it was a total trap. And I'll never forget, did the radio show. I picked us to lose. I came home, and it was I think, late November by this point, second to last game of the regular season, so it's dark early. And I went to walk Penny before the game. And there's a car coming down the street. Our old street at our house didn't have lights, so it was super dimly lit. So I walk in the yard of our neighbor. They had a giant hole, a huge hole, Roman. I completely fall.
No.
Destroy my leg. I'm bleeding everywhere. It's terrible. This car drives past. I see the person driving laughing because I've fallen down. I still have a scar on my shin from this fall. So I'll never forget the 2016 Houston game because I've got this giant gash on my right shin that will never go away. And right then, I was like, vibes are off. We're done. I bloodied my U of L sock that I was wearing. It was terrible. And they returned the opening kick for a touchdown, or we fumbled the opening kick, whatever it was. And from that point, it was just...
I remember being in front of the TV trying to explain to my parents how big of a game this was, how Houston was good. If we win this, we could be this, we could be that.
Lamar, every time it was snap on his ass. We blocked nobody that entire game. That was the game where we were getting made fun of nationally. People were posting gifs of our offensive line. And I think we had the play where the offensive line's trying to hold his stance, and he just falls over backwards. It was a terrible, terrible night for the offensive line. And then we're all right, if we just beat Kentucky. We were all bummed out because we were we're only going to the Orange Bowl. No playoff. I guess we'll settle for the Orange Bowl. And then we lose to Kentucky. We don't even get to go to the Orange Bowl. Florida State, who we beat by 1 billion points, takes our spot with the same record and beats Michigan, and we go get pummeled by LSU. It was terrible. Terrible.
Rough times.
Bobby's fault. Texas Dolphins fan guy here. We are not the worst team in the NFL. Suck it, Jets. I'll ask you, Mike, since I asked Roman, should I get one of those sick black Dolphins jerseys, and which player? I mean, those jerseys are sweet. The end zone was sweet.
Yeah.
The whole thing. I hate they got wasted on such a bad team.
Got to win, though, out of them.
They got to win. That's all that matters. I mean, I would not get a Tyreek Hill jersey. I
told him Achane or Storm Duck.
Yeah. Oh, Storm Duck.
He said up there, you can see his message. He said, Achane won't be there in 3 years. He said Waddle was his thought. Producer Matt told him Waddle as well. I still go Storm Duck. If you really believe Achane isn't going to be there in 3 years, he's a Louisville player.
I think he might be there for a while.
I think so, too. He's been great these last 2
Malik Washington, great wide receiver. Torched us in Virginia back in the day. Texas says, my wiener is pulsating so hard right now. I just looked at my Cardinals account and saw I got my basketball tickets, then immediately got erect when I realized after the Virginia football game, our next home event is the Kansas exhibition game. Man, is that right? Yeah, I guess it is.
Wow, it is.
We get a week off, then we play Miami Friday the 19th, and then we'll have the Kansas October 24th.
We play them Miami the 17th.
17th, thank you. So who do we play the weekend? We play Boston College the weekend after that.
Yeah.
So that is the 25th, right?
Yes. 24th?
No, because the Miami game's a Saturday. I mean a Friday. So if that's the 17th, then it's the 25th. You're right.
You were right.
I was right. Okay. I was trying to give you credit. So the Kansas exhibition game is a Friday night, the 24th, and then the next day we get Boston College at home, Saturday the 25th. Man, that's exciting. It's gonna be a hell of a weekend.
2 weeks right there.
Big 2 weeks, no question about it. All right, we gotta take a break. When we come back, more from you guys. The Game Day Mentel text line is 502-414-1450. We'll continue to take your texts after the break. Quick update from the MLB playoffs. 2-1. Cards over Tigers. We'll keep you updated here on the Big X. Oh my God, this TV, Roman. This is why I gave the wrong update before the break there. I said the Guardians were leading 2-1. Allow me to correct myself. The Tigers have won 2-1. The game is over. I cannot get this. A second ago, it started playing the Cubs game, but it was like blocked out by the screen. I don't even know how to describe what it was. And now it's back to like, sign in with your TV provider, which I've done 75 times now. I blame TJ. This
young guy come in there and figure it out for you, Mike?
No, it's that damn John Spears. That's who it is. The damn Spears just ruining everything in the studio, sabotaging my plans to do sports radio and watch MLB playoff baseball at the same time. This is all his fault. It does bring me great delight to give this update, though. As we head to the top of the fourth inning, the Padres lead the Cubs 1-0. It's 1984 all over again. Padres Cubs. Greatest episode of Mr. Belvedere. Not Mr. Belvedere. What was the one with oh man. The little girl who was adopted by the guy in Chicago. What's Punky Brewster. You don't know anything about Punky Brewster.
Great all about Punky Brewster.
Great episode of Punky Brewster where they take off to go. The Cubs are in the playoffs for the first time in like 75 years. They're playing the Padres in the National League Championship Series. And Punky and her dad, adopted dad, they go to the game. And the Padres, I think, win. I think the Padres swept that series. But anyways, it feels like 84 all over again. And hopefully the Cubs are about to lose again. Who do you have in that series? Pods, Cubs.
I got the Padres as well.
I got the Padres.
They were my dark horse pick to make the playoffs.
Were they? To make the World Series, you mean?
Maybe that was what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
And during the Spears on Sports show, because I was on that show when we were making those picks.
All right. Tony Elliott, Roman, the head coach of the Virginia football team, has written a letter to Wahoo Nation, a.k.a. the Virginia fan base. Would you like for me to read it?
Read it.
Wahoo Nation, comma. Wow. Friday night was an unbelievably special night for our program. For players, coaches, and fans alike, it's one we won't forget soon. There's no space between comma and the start of it's. Just saying. Thought this was supposed to be Thomas Jefferson School. We weren't focused on proving anybody wrong. We were focused on proving ourselves right. This is written by AI. I told our players before the game that they don't have a spirit of fear. What the hell does that mean? They have a spirit of power, love, self-control, and discipline. I am sure you see what I have seen every day. Semicolon, the hermaphrodite of punctuation. This is a special group of young men who love the game of football and work hard to play it the right way every day. And we all watched what they did. Another semicolon. 4 hours of focus, fight, and determination led to victory over one of the best teams in the country. I want to give a special thank you to our fans. You gave us an unbelievable home field advantage Friday night. To the UVA students, you showed up and showed out. Your energy, noise, and belief no doubt played a role in our victory. It's a huge priority in our program to defend Scott. Collectively, we have accomplished the mission so far with a 4-0 home record. But the job isn't finished yet. As I told our players postgame, we've done nothing yet. Friday night is flushed. Doesn't sound like it. And we are on to Louisville. Our goals are all in front of us, not behind us. And we need you to lock in with us the rest of the way. Pack Scott Stadium and let's go unbeaten at home this year. Thanks for your support of Virginia football. Go Hoos, Coach Elliott.
Sounds a bit like if we lose this Saturday, please come to our home game still.
I mean, I think he's...
Double semicolons in the same
Two
sentence?
semicolons? Awful.
That's terrible.
I think it was, not Hemingway. Kurt Vonnegut said the semicolon's the hermaphrodite of punctuation. The only thing it does is show that you've been to college. It's just, you're bragging by using a semicolon correctly. There's never an excuse to really use one. Not that I haven't ever used one before, but I'm just saying. Tony Elliott, 2 in 1 letter to the student base is ridiculous. This just reeks of we're trying not to overemphasize the Florida State game while we're still overemphasizing the Florida State game. I'm telling you right now, I'm not guaranteeing a victory or anything like that. I'm not Roman. We are, without question, catching them at the best time. They're riding the high of that Florida State game. Having to have a coach come forward and be like, hey, guys, the job's not done, just goes to show how focused they are on that Florida State win. We're ranked. We're feeling good. We're feeling ourselves a little bit. We can't believe we're not favored against Louisville. We need to. These guys need to be taken down a notch or 5. We've done it historically. Virginia typically plays us close, but more times than not, we take care of business against Virginia. We need to write another one of those chapters this weekend.
It's time.
What's the thing that they do? They don't call themselves, they don't say freshman, sophomore, junior. They're like first year, second year, third, because senior implies that you're done, that you've learned all you need to learn. And Thomas Jefferson said your education should never stop. Get out of my face. They don't say campus, it's grounds. These freaking guys. These freaking nerds. We're going to show them all about football. On our grounds. On our campus. With our seniors. Our 7th-year seniors out there. running routes all over you. Suck it, Virginia. I'm fired up now.
I'm ready.
I'm ready to go. 502-414-1450.
Your write-up earlier scared me. I didn't know if you're going to get into that at all.
What was that?
Only Clark Chronicle? Did you not write that? About
No.
their offense?
No. That was Keith.
Oh. Didn't like that.
What did he say?
He said a lot. Said they've got playmakers all over the field pretty much on offense.
I mean, they do. Like, it's a great offensive team. There's no way around it. They've got, I mean, like
2 or 3 running backs who can all make it happen, averaging a good amount of yards per carry this season. One really good receiver, another receiver who's been making things happen, and obviously Chandler Morris, when he has time, one of the better quarterbacks in the nation right now.
Chandler Morris is great. Jamari Taylor is fantastic. He's a playmaker. No, that's Keith. Keith writes all the breakdowns, the offensive and defense. He does the team stuff, and then we have him on Friday to talk about it and regurgitate all the stuff that he's already told us because he's smart. He's better than us at knowing football stuff. But I mean, look, you don't have to know a ton about football to look at the numbers that they've put up this season and say, all right, their offensive just point totals: 48 points, 31 points, 55 points, 48 points, 46 points. It's a lot of points.
It is.
They are, I think, the third highest scoring team in college football right now. Their red zone offense has been ridiculous. Their third down offense has been ridiculous. Our third down defense has been ridiculous. Something's going to have to give here, and hopefully it's their offense being overly inflated by playing some whatever defenses. Now, I mean, they put 46 up on Florida State, a team that we know the defense has playmakers. They held Bama to 17 points. They held a couple nobodies to 13 total points in 2 games. We'll see. I mean, it's still early. The sample size is still limited. It's still tough to fully figure out who's a pretender and who's the real deal. And but I think you have enough to know that Virginia offense is legit. And hopefully our legit Louisville defense can.
5th in the country in points per game and yards per game.
Gosh. I mean, look, but their defense hasn't been great. This is a perfect opportunity for our offense to step up. The defense can't win every big game that we have. The defense at some point this season, whether it's Saturday or another point down the line, is going to give up 30-plus points in a game. It just is. And this would be a great opportunity for our offense to go out there and win like a 42-35 type game where Isaac Brown gets it going, Duke Watson gets it going, Miller Moss keeps it going, because defensively they're not great. There are areas where we should be able to gouge them. And if this offense has the chance to be as good as we all wanted it to be at the start of the season, this is the perfect time to give that first indication. We got some stuff figured out in the second half last week.
Yeah.
Now let's go out there and let's play a full 4 quarters where we're lighting some team up. Let's go. 502-414-1450. Game Day Men's Health text line. Chris the teacher says, I think people who are focusing on how much this undefeated team drives them crazy are forgetting that 99% of college football fans feel that way about their team. Also, between Roman discussing clock management minus the L and Mike saying he hit Virginia on Friday and made his kids swelter in onesies, I'm surprised you guys are on the air today. I hit my Virginia bet, is what I said. The kids also wore the onesies for like 2 minutes and then took them off. And we had naked kids. My kids just, they're constantly naked.
I was just speaking fast. That's all that was.
It's fine. Chris, give us a break. It's Monday. We were excited about the win. Stop. Texas, hey, Mark. I just got done listening to today's CC Pod. Kenny Payne will be proud of the amount of times you and Podcast Trevor said fight during the episode. Enough time has passed. We've moved past. We can start saying fight every now and then. Crawford wrote a column today with fight in the title. People got all, oh, man. Kenny Payne doesn't have he can't ruin the word fight for us forever. I can't. We've said grit too much over the last 2 years. We got to move on to something else.
Tired of saying battle.
I'm tired of saying this team's got grit, spunk, whatever. There are only so many euphemisms out there. This team's got great fight. We won as many games already this football season as Kenny Payne did in his first year here. So they earned the right to say fight. Kenny Payne never earned it.
Fight, that was a word in his playbook. A tactic of his.
He never said anything besides that. We got to fight. Text said if we consider the new uniforms being the issue with the team, they look so cheap. Maybe I just don't care about this stuff as much as I thought. Like I haven't had an issue with the uniforms this year. I think they look fine.
I don't know if
you clearly feel differently. I mean,
cheap isn't the right word.
You talked about the helmets, which is one thing, and people agree with you. I think I don't know, man. Like I think the uniforms look fine to me. You don't like them?
Something about like the material looking, seeming like it's not fully stretching over players' pads fully. I've never really liked that, but that's a common football thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Adidas isn't putting in the effort like they used to.
Maybe not. Maybe everyone's trying to save money. I don't know. Did you see the news that Steve Wiltfong has logged an expert prediction for Michigan to land class of 2027 four-star safety Charles Woodson Jr.?
Really?
This just keeps happening, and I just keep feeling older. Like Charles Woodson, the Wolverine. I feel like he just graduated. No, it was 97. Oh my God. So yeah, he's got a kid. Apparently very good. Not shockingly, he's going to go to Michigan.
Good for him.
Good for him. Not good for me. Chris the Plumber says, oh God. I did more research on Bad Bunny. This guy doesn't even sing in English and dresses in drag. What are we doing? I'm sure he has fans, but why not pick somebody if we're doing rap as the genre that more people like? Dre, Snoop, Eminem. They did those guys like 5 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah, this is a bad move, and I don't care what the small minority thinks. This is not going to be popular. I don't think it's as small as you wish, Chris.
Got to get the international fans on the game, Mike. Or Chris, sorry.
Look at his numbers. They're got a pretty large following. He also says getting Flowers on would be radio gold. Good job, Roman. Oh, it's happening.
Doing what I can.
We're going to make national news with Trenton Flowers. Kenny Payne didn't know what a double dribble was. Texter says this is from pickdogs.com. Okay. Why the Louisville Cardinals will win. Louisville has won each of its last 7 games. That's a good reason. Virginia has lost 4 of its last 5 road games. The home team has covered the spread in each of Virginia's last 6 games. Virginia has failed to cover the spread in 4 of its last 5 games as an underdog. Virginia has lost the first half in 5 of its last 6 road games against conference opponents. Why the Virginia Cavaliers will win. The team ranked 24th in the AP poll has won 5 of its last 6 games. That's doing nothing.
This is a 12-year-old.
This has to be like automated. Louisville has lost 24 of its last 30 games against AP-ranked teams.
Yikes.
I don't even think that. I don't think that's true. I mean, we're 3-3 against ranked opponents with Jeff here. I know that Bobby was bad against ranked opponents, but 26 and 24 our last 30 games seems. I mean, whatever. All I know is we're 3-3 under Jeff. Virginia's covered the spread in each of its last 6 October games as an underdog. That's a ridiculous stat. Louisville has failed to cover the spread in 5 of its last 6 home games. Virginia has won the first quarter in each of its last 3 games against I feel better about this after reading these terrible stats. Ours were better than theirs were.
They were.
Of course the team ranked 24th in the AP poll has won 5 of its last 6 games. It's early in the year. Ranked teams typically win games.
It's also a much different Virginia team, though.
But yeah. Texas says, Roman, you better be at this game Saturday. If you aren't, you better be calling play-by-play.
I'll be there.
I think the Rutherfords are going to be there, too. Making our 2025 debut.
I'll be there. I'll be out there early. I'm tailgating.
That's my guy.
Trying to toss this football.
God, you're going to ruin that knee. You're going to get drunk and you're going to ruin that knee. And you're going to look back 15 years from now, you're going to text me when you're my age, and you're going to say, I can't play indoor soccer anymore. You were right. I'm so sorry.
I wouldn't have tailgated that Virginia game in 2025.
And I'm going to be dead, and you're going to it's going to go to an empty voice. Died from Reds heart failure in 2025. Texas, I'm choosing to believe that Tito is playing 4D chess by using Littell as an opener in game 2. So the Dodgers stack their lineup with lefties, and then we bring in Lodolo in the second or third inning. I think he'll have a short leash for sure. I just don't. I mean, look, we don't score runs. Run scoring is not the best thing that the Reds do. So if Littell goes out there and gives up 3 in the first, that may be enough at that point. We haven't scored more than 2 runs in a while. So besides the game where we scored 7. Lions fan John says Tigers. They won. The Gers. Up 1-0 against the Guardians. Padres, by the way, up 1-0, top 5. They've got 3 hits. The Cubs, 1 hit, 1 error for the greatest offense in the history of Major League Baseball. Oh, if the Cubs get eliminated before we do, Cubs fan Brian, you better cover your ears. It's going to be great. Texture says, hey, guys, what's the most inappropriate okay, well, I wasn't sure where this was going. What's the most inappropriate place you've ever had to watch a game? For example, last year I watched Noah Waterman's layup against EKU at the burial site of my girlfriend's grandmother's funeral. I had to hold in a fist pump as the priest was speaking. Does this make me a bad person or a good fan? You're walking the line for sure. I mean, I consider myself, I think, a diehard fan. Pretty, it's a pretty big part of my life, as you might have guessed. I don't know, even if it was somebody I didn't really know, like girlfriend, grandmother funeral, I don't know if I would have the gall to be watching on my phone as the burial is happening.
Maybe to the Duke game. EKU, though, I don't know.
Wasn't that a night game? How late was this burial? I feel like that was a weeknight game.
I don't know.
Was it a weekend afternoon?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. I think it was like a late Saturday game, but later in the afternoon.
Still, it's late for a burial.
I have one kind of.
It was a Saturday game, yeah.
Because, we played Indiana on Thanksgiving last year, right?
Correct. Yeah, I think you're right. It was, no, it was the day before Thanksgiving.
So that was the day of my current girlfriend Holly's family's Thanksgiving celebration day, like where everybody comes to eat. I thought it was on Thanksgiving Day, but that was last year was the first time I actually Louisville playing takes precedent over most things I'm doing in life because I've got to watch the games. And this was the first time I was ever around her family, like full family, a lot of people that I'm meeting for the first time, and the game's on. And I just remember I had moments where someone would ask me a question and I would start answering it and slowly turning my head as I'm answering the question out loud, but keeping my eyes on the TV for an extra 10 seconds every time I'm talking to somebody when the game started. Well, we gained a lot of momentum there in that second half. And I basically was being a terrible, terrible first impression boyfriend.
I sort of remember this now that you say that. This was something we talked about on the radio. I had
not really inappropriate because I'm getting asked what do you do for a living, and it's pay attention to these guys play basketball right here, and they all understood. They knew they were a bunch of Louisville fans anyway, so they were also into the game and watching it. But I'm standing up, pacing in front of the TV,
fist pumping.
Yeah,
I'm
trying not to yell loudly when good things happen.
I'm trying to think. I know that I've had to do it at I've snuck peeks during a service at church that's a wedding. I've never done it at an actual church service on Sunday because if Louisville's playing at that time, we're not going. I'm trying. I do remember the first year that I ever did Thanksgiving. Mary and I we rotate Thanksgiving. This year we'll do it in town. Next year we'll go to Springfield and do it. So the first year that I did Thanksgiving with her family. Our family, the Lions game is a big deal for us, Thanksgiving. My dad and I always watched it. The nothing really starts until the Lions game is over. We did dinner a little bit later. They do their dinner right in the middle of the afternoon, basically right when the Lions game is kind of ending. And so, this was the year the Lions, they weren't great, but they were in the playoff race, and I think they were playing the Bears. And they had it on a little TV in the kitchen. And so we're eating, and like they're kicking a last-second field goal. And I'm like leaning back, and I'm like, yes, like, come on. So like that was the first one. They're like, oh, like we're kind of doing. And then I think Louisville played a game. They were playing in Atlantis that year or something too. So like they had a bat. We went right from that to like me having to watch a Louisville basketball game, which I felt bad about. But I had this wasn't like the first year that I'd known them or anything like that. I knew the family pretty well at that point. I just hadn't been there for Thanksgiving. But I feel like there have been some other ones where it's like I shouldn't be doing this, but I am. But definitely never at a funeral. That you've got me beaten there if this is a competition that you want to win. Texture says, you absolutely hate to see that happen to Tyreek. An injury like that couldn't have happened to a better guy. Dripping with sarcasm. Some of the memes out there are outrageous in the wake of this injury. But I agree. Doesn't seem like the best guy in the world. Texas Mike with Petrino back on his hog in Hog Vegas. Are you subscribing to Hogs Plus? I will never subscribe to Hogs Plus. It's never happening. You're not going to trick me. I know what this is. It's an elaborate trick. I'm a father of 2 young kids. I can't subscribe to Hog Plus. I'll never go to hogsplus.com. Texas, this is Boxcar Bob. If Josh Hurd gets this banner back up, he needs to update his resume to say successfully reverse strippered the NCAA into giving U of L its championship banner back.
He pulled the old reverse stripper.
It's rare that you can pull off a successful reverse stripper. I trust Josh Hurd to make it happen. I mean, I wouldn't call it that if I were him. Once again, he's better suited for that job than I am. Because I would be like, hell yeah, I reverse strippered these people.
I can't stop picturing him like getting genuinely reverse strippered now. Sit down, them handing him money.
He's laying it on. He's pulling the reverse stripper right now. Man, thank God you guys are here. Most guys that come in here are just such losers. You guys are so rational, and you make well thought out decisions. Everyone before you was just crazy, man. They were just wild. Just so glad you guys are in power. Would you like $1? I'll be sure to tip. Come find me when you get off stage, though. We'll talk about this. He's doing it. He's pulling it off. It's going to happen. Texas, if we get the banner back up, does that mean we get all the wins back from not just that year, but the years before? I mean, I think
the demand.
That's the part. I mean, I don't think anybody even cares about that at this point. It would be cool because every now and then you'll see like a records graphic that will come out that has Louisville as like the, I don't like whatever we are now, like the 13th winningest program in history where we should be 7th or something. And that's kind of annoying. The banner's the big thing, though. Seeing those graphics and having people say that we've got like 2 national titles, it's not anger-inducing because we all know what the case is. I'm not going to act like it's not annoying, though. It's an annoyance, and it's an annoyance that we shouldn't have to deal with all the other NCAA rulings that have taken place in the 12 years since. But as far as like eventually, I do think that the NCAA is going to get rid of its vacation of records rules, and you'll see, the Fab Five will have its records back. Calipari will have his 2 pre-UK Final Fours back. Kentucky will have its football season back where they won 10 games, and we'll have our 2012 through 2015 records back. I mean, that's or 14, I guess it was. So that's 3 years where we won a lot of games that we're no longer allowed to officially recognize, which is stupid. Texas, I can't lie. When it happened live, I was thinking the equipment guy was doing too much. I still do, but I like the story on The Athletic. He should be a captain against Virginia. The Reds play playoff baseball tonight, a soaring positive, because even if they lose, it won't be as disappointing as the Bengals.
He was doing his job.
He was doing what he was supposed to do.
He gave him a moment to celebrate. They had their moment. Give the ball back. He didn't want to do so. He had to do his job.
It makes more sense, too, when he said a couple of times now that they had kind of like a pregame talk where it was the last time we were up here, 4 or 5 balls didn't come back with us. You guys do whatever you need to do to make sure that we get all of our balls. And I say balls so much when we talk about this. And
footballs.
I say balls. The kid deserves. He's got 2 big ones. We can talk about it. He brought back the big ball along with his 2 regular. He's got stones, and I don't mind talking about it on the radio. But it makes more sense now that he was going in with that. He's like, I take my job seriously. My boss gave me a direction. I was going to follow it. He was following orders, Roman.
Doing what he's got to do for this program.
What a good soldier does. Texas Andy Katz not having UD Arena on his list is foul. The alcohol-friendly student section in the 400s is daunting. I don't know about that. Texas didn't Flowers take the NIL and run to Australia? I don't blame him for getting out of the KP disaster before it fully tanked his pro career in optics, but taking money and running is a little scummy. I don't know if that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, figure it out.
I was told that he got he got paid the portion that he was owed when he arrived on campus and spent the summer here and did all that stuff. But I was told that he didn't get the full allotment of his NIL because he didn't fulfill the full requirements. That'd be something that I'd like to ask him if we can get him on the show. Roman H says, you ignored the whole text besides the link. It's not because of IU, the Virginia NC. Oh, it's not? I thought it was a direct result of them having their series canceled by UVA. Well, I can't read this on air, but I'll take your word for it. It's super weird, without question, the fact that we've got two ACC teams playing multiple non-conference games against each other. Text, I'm headed into enemy territory in a couple hours. Got tickets last night for $44 after fees, which is absolutely insane. Just a blessing for a Reds fan living in L.A. Steer and Marte both will go deep. The Reds will win 7-4. I'll get drunk and I will make a difference. Go Reds. Props to you. Get out there. Let's go. I did see that the prices at Dodger Stadium, they are, I think, lower than what they would be if these games were being played at Great American Ballpark. Like you can get, like he said, you get tickets up there for $44.
I think this is our boy Caden here. Not sure.
Our boy Caden?
Yeah.
Make a play, Caden. By the way, biggest guarantee of the game. First pitch Noel V. Marte sees. He's taking the biggest hack you've ever seen. It's probably going to be a slider in the dirt. He's going to swing and miss as loud as you've ever seen. He's probably going to bat second. If you can get odds on that somewhere, take him. He ain't taking a pitch. Let's go to break when we come back. Hour number 3 is up next. We'll talk about some more things going on in the world of Cardinal athletics and athletics at large. Bad news for a former Cardinal in the NFL. We'll talk about that after the break. Keep it locked right here on the Big X.
Joe is back at Everything Concealed Carry with 900 to 1,000 new and used guns.
The final hour of the Mike Rutherford Show, Tuesday edition here, 1450, 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. The Reds have their lineup out, Roman. It's pretty much what I expected. It's a lineup that's going to swing at approximately 75 Blake Snell curveballs in the dirt. I mean, it just is. We need Hunter Green to go out there and throw basically a one-hitter and have one of our guys just run into one and win this game 1-0. It's the I've gone from like elated, icing on the cake guy at the beginning of the show already to like just fully expecting the worst guy. The lineup, seeing the lineup card just made it real. It's too real now, Roman. The Reds are playing in the playoffs tonight against the Dodgers. We've got
Feeling nervous now, Mike?
a little bit. Austin. I mean, I'm just expecting the worst. Austin Hayes back in the lineup, batting fourth. I mean, you got two automatic outs at the bottom of the lineup in Key Brian Hayes and Matt McClain. It's hard to get overly excited about the offense when that's the case, but we'll give it our best shot. 502-414-1450 is the Game Day Men's Health text line. We'll get back to you guys momentarily. Roman, I sent you something via DM on the Big X Twitter account. We didn't get a chance. So I had heard about this yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to actually listen to it until last night. So Tutu Atwell, who's had an up-and-down career with the Los Angeles Rams, a lot of people think that he got drafted way too high, has not done much this season, but made one of the biggest catches of his career on Sunday when he scored the game winner against the Indianapolis Colts. About 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He makes an 88-yard touchdown catch to make the score 27-20, which wound up being the final margin. And the Spanish announcing team for the Los Angeles Rams had an absolutely electric call of the touchdown. You may be like, well, why are we playing a Spanish broadcast of a Tutu Atwell touchdown? One, it's only 27 seconds long. Two, it's absolutely electric. You're going to want to hear this. Hit it.
Tyler Higbee pasa a la derecha. Stafford se planta en la bolsa. Tiene tiempo el pase flotadito. ¡Tutu! ¡Completo a 50 y se va a escapar! ¡A 42, todo uno, 30 a la 20! ¡Va a llegar a la yarda 10 a la 5! ¡Touchdown! 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 ¡Rams! ¡Tutu!
I mean, it's so good. Like, I kept seeing people share it, and I finally watched it, and the whole time I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And then when he does the like, I was like, oh my God, it's incredible. That's pure electricity, Roman.
That's amazing. The Spanish commentators with the more American sports, when something exciting like this happens, it's just different. It just sounds different. I love it.
Did you watch speaking of highlight videos, so U of L put out the latest card tape last night, the highlight videos they do after every win. Did you get a chance to check it out?
I didn't.
It's like 5 minutes long, and I thought, I think that I don't want to say it's the biggest issue that the fan base has had in the first 3 games this season, but one of the biggest issues, I think, has been the sense that the team has lacked a little bit of excitement, right? Like, they don't seem to be as fired up as you'd like. It's football, for God's sake. You got to have people, going nuts, giving impassioned speeches. I thought this highlight video gave some solid insight into what's going on. Like, they had Miller Moss talking to the offense before the game. He's not grabbing dudes by their face masks or anything like that, but he is saying, like, let's go into someone else's house and, like, take over. There's no better feeling in the world. It's cool to see him in that form. They showed Jeff Brom at halftime, and I think a lot of people, like, I got texts after the game from friends who were like, man, we need to find out what Brom said at halftime. Like, we got to get access to that halftime speech. I bet he was tearing the paint off the walls. And he's super laid back. Like he says, like, in the clip that's on the highlight video, we knew this was going to be the case. We knew it was going to be back and forth. We knew that we were going to be, take some blows, and we were going to give some blows. And now it's time to go out there, focus on your job, focus on what you got to do, be the best at your specific position, and let's fight till the end. Like, it was nothing over the top. And I think that, Peyton Manning made some headlines a couple of weeks ago on the Monday night, whatever, the Manning cast they do, where he said, it's the most overrated thing in sports, this notion that there's a halftime adjustment, that you go in there, you look at all this stuff, and you completely change your game plan. He says, all you got time for, you go in there, it's 15 minutes before, and even less when you got to come back out and start warming up again. He says, you go in there, you eat a couple of oranges, you say, all right, let's go get them, and that's it. Like, I think that it sounds like that's more or less the case for most teams. There's no big re-strategy session. Maybe you've got time to tweak a couple of little things, but it's typically just kind of like, all right, like let's.
I feel like that's got to be more the case for NFL, though, Mike. These are kids. These are young guys.
Maybe there's some, but
you got to get them re-pumped up at halftime in college. I agree that there's probably you don't have enough time to get everybody on the same page with tactical changes. But with the younger guys, there's surely a little bit more pumping them up. All right, you're still good. You're good to go. We're going to go out there. We've got our game plan. We're going to go figure it out.
Yeah,
versus
maybe there is.
NFL, I mean, you're all grown. You know, like what the expectation was.
Yeah, but this clip, Jeff is very much kind of giving sort of an NFL talk where he's like, we're not changing anything gigantic. Like just go out there, play hard, focus on what you need to do, be the best at your position every single rep, and let's go. And it's kind of just that straightforward thing. Now, after the game,
it's funny though. I've never even heard of any like famous halftime speeches or anything. It's a post-game speeches where coaches go crazy.
And Brahms' post-game I thought was good. He talks about, he invokes Muhammad Ali, and he's like, there's some fights where, he was taking punches, and then finally he's like, all right, like you hit me. Now it's time for me to hit you. And he's like, that's what you guys did. And that seemed to get people fired up. It's a cool, I enjoy the insight because I think a lot of people are, when you watch the team play sometimes, you're like, man, is anybody even talking? Is anybody getting hyped up? What's going on? And this is just sort of confirmation that, it's happening. It's just not as visible on TV as it is when you've got cameras down there on the sidelines, which is pretty cool. Latest bowl projections. Are you ready for the classic, the weekly Bet Kentucky odds for this team and where they're going to spend their postseason?
Yes.
What do you think is, I'll ask this. What percentage chance do you believe Bet Kentucky gives Louisville right now to make the college football playoff?
11% chance.
No.
17% chance.
Well, hold on. I was looking at the wrong thing. You actually are very correct. The first one. 11.8% chance college football playoff. The biggest overwhelming favorite is Louisville going to the Gator Bowl, which they give a 40% chance.
Lame.
Duke's Mayo Bowl is second at 21.1%, and then Pop-Tarts Bowl and playoff first round are tied for third at 11.8%. Military Bowl, 4.8%, and then the field, which includes every other bowl game or no bowl game, is 10.5%. Do you think that's about right? If I asked you what percent chance do you think that Louisville has right now to make the playoff, what would you say?
I'd say like a 25% chance.
I was going to say like 16%. I think it's better than, because I was thinking like, 10%. I feel like it's better than a 1 in 10 shot, just with the ACC being the way that it is.
Yeah, we got like a 65% chance to be the third best team in the ACC right now, which probably not getting 3 teams in. So, yeah, it's pretty low.
Depending on what happens in these next 2 games, those odds are going to go in one of 2 extreme directions.
Yeah, you're right.
If we lose to Virginia and Miami, it's 0 at that point. Like you've got no shot. 6-2 is not getting you into the conference championship game, and 10-2 with no real signature victories, you got no shot at being an at-large team. But if you beat Virginia and Miami, suddenly it's like, all right, man. Like I kind of think it's like a 50% chance at this point. Like we're going to be favored against all these teams, and even if we dropped 1, we still have a good shot, I think, to be in that top 12. So, these. It's like I said yesterday. We all sort of thought that the key stretch of the season was going to be the Miami game by itself, and then those last 3 games where it's SMU, Clemson, and then Kentucky. And instead, it kind of like these 2 games are sort of this is the critical stretch for us right now. These may be the only 2 ranked teams we play this whole season. So,
Mike, I'm worried about the SMU game.
I kind of am too.
I'm worried about it being the potential stinker now.
I said this on the podcast.
Especially if we beat Clemson.
Look.
And they continue to be iffy all year like this.
It's not like SMU has been terrible. Like we're all kind of like, well, they're not ranked anymore. They were frauds. They lost to Baylor by 3, and they lost.
In a game they had basically the position to win.
Sure. They lost to Baylor by 3, and they lost at TCU by 11. We still they haven't beaten anybody of any sort of consequence, but they
scored 42 points, 45 points, 28 points, and 24 points.
We know they can score. Bad. Like we know they can play. They've got too many dudes from a team that made the playoff last year to be bad. We'll know more. They could easily be 6-1 in the ACC or 5-1 in the ACC when we play them in that game, and it could be a huge deal for them. And then playing them on the road right after having played Clemson, which even if they're not good, that's going to be a physical game. I'm with you. To me, like outside of these 2 games, that's the big one that you circle left on the schedule after that, where you're like, okay, where's the game where we could be an underdog That's the most likely one for sure. That looks like, on paper, that's the toughest game you have.
They're going to be going into that game 6-4, Mike.
It could be. But if they're 7-3 and they've only got one conference loss, that's a super meaningful game for them. Like, they're playing for their lives. They still feel like they've got a shot at the playoff at that point in time, depending on how the rest of the conference is shaking out. And, I mean, it feels like this ACC race is going to get wonky, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the teams that are in the conference without a loss right now, that have played a conference game, Miami, Carolina, and SMU have not played a league game. Georgia Tech's 2-0. They should have lost to Wake Forest. They kind of got a little boost there. I don't trust them to go 8-0.
A little boost, Mike.
Huge boost. The game got stolen from Wake Forest. Let's say what it was. Virginia's 2-0. They've already lost to an ACC team,
so stupid.
It's very stupid. Duke is 2-0. We've seen them look pretty bad at times. Cal is 1-0. I don't think anybody trusts them to be a legit contender. Virginia Tech's got no damn coach. They're 1-0, and then it's us. We may have like 5 7-1 teams, or like 1 7-1 team and 8 6-2 teams. This race has the chance to get super weird, and I think everybody recognizes that, and it's why us coming back and winning that game last Saturday was so huge. You had to have it. You had to have it.
You got to have this one too, Mike. Honestly, you have to.
I think you're right. There's no way around it. You got to.
I don't expect them to get back up to the top 25 by the season's end.
It's still a game you got to win. I'm with you. I think
important victory.
If you're a realistic threat to win the ACC, you win this game this weekend. I had something else, but I can't remember. Let's get back to the text line. We'll take some text. I'll start the 5 o'clock hour with it if I can resurface it. Texter says, after starting the season a combined 6-0, I just so happened to be playing CD's nuts in both leagues. My team's tanked, so safe to say I got whooped by Bofa CD's nuts while he didn't even play. Did your friends do like the funny names with fantasy?
A little bit.
I think
I can't even say mine on air.
Oh, I was gonna say, if anyone had access to our old like league names when we were in college, I mean, even more recently, I think none of us would have jobs. Like, our entire league would just get fired from. Not that it's like anything over the top, as far as like,
we had a couple.
The worst thing you're thinking of. They're very sexual. I think are all.
Ours are like bad world leaders combined with sexual stuff. It's bad.
What was it?
Hitler's thong snatcher. All kinds of crazy stuff.
See, ours, we always had to incorporate a player's name. Like, one of my buddies has, let's call the boys, let's run a chain, because he's got Lutz and he's got a chain, and that's famously a lyric from 3 6 Mafia's. I don't know if I can say the name of the song. Bleep on my bleep. Neither of those are bad words, but I still don't feel comfortable saying the name of the song, which was an absolute grade school classic back in 1990. Somehow every 8th grader knew the words to that song. Like corn on the cob. Check in with me and do your job. I'll stop. I promise. The Riddler says, #1 Josh Hurd fan here. Mike, please get Josh on the radio. I think he needs to keep talking about the banner. I applaud the boldness in his statements. Let's keep the ball rolling. I will say that as a fan that has suffered at the hands of the NCAA for a decade, my preference is to sue their pants off so that the fans get the joy of seeing the NCAA curled up in the fetal position while Hurd legally curb stomps them into the ground. P.S. I'm definitely not the Riddler. We changed your name on the text line. I can see who you are. Riddler hadn't done a riddle in a while. I know it's an off-season thing. But if Hurd gets the banner back, I feel like Riddler needs to become #1 Josh Hurd fan on the text line.
We can give him that.
Yeah. It's got to be changed up at that point. Text says, Mike, I was looking over some of the other ACC schedules, and I'm making a prediction now.
Ooh.
One of the teams that plays for the conference championship this year will be a team that nobody picked preseason. Georgia Tech, Virginia, Cal all have the schedules to make that happen. Problem is, people picked Georgia Tech before the start of the year. They were a trendy dark horse pick. A lot of decent teams with forgiving schedules, and it's a down year for Clemson. FSU has one conference loss, and they are either about to pick up their second or Miami will have a loss. I really hope Jeff can get the most out of this team because the ACC is right there for the taking if we can just get everyone on the right page. It hasn't felt this wide open of a path to the conference championship since we've joined the conference. we don't get these opportunities too much.
The thing is, Georgia Tech's schedule and Miami's offensive line are going to make it tough.
I think there's a super realistic possibility, and it may be the only way that we get multiple ACC teams into the playoff, where Miami loses to somebody in the ACC. It's us, it's FSU, it's somebody. They go 7-1, but they've still got the big win over Notre Dame, which is back to looking good. They, had the win over Florida. They had they're going to have the best non-conference resume of any team in this league. And if they go 11-1, they're pretty much a lock for the playoff at that point. I think there's a chance that they go 7-1 in the ACC, they go 11-1 overall, and they don't make the conference championship game because, we go 7-1, have the tiebreaker over them,
and Georgia Tech doesn't
and
lose.
Tech goes 8-0, or Virginia goes 8-0, or something funky is going to happen.
I'd be raising hell.
Oh yeah, I feel like this is the year where something funky is going to happen, where the clear-cut best team in the conference isn't playing for the conference championship game. Because
That'd be the only way we get 3 teams in.
I think it's maybe the only way we get 2 teams in.
Oh yeah, you're probably right
Because of the imbalanced schedules here. But that's a prediction. I think Miami, they're going to crystal ball at some point. They will screw something up dramatically at some point this season, but they've got a pretty big safety net. Unless they lose twice, they're in pretty good shape. Florida State right now is the only ranked team they play this season. Obviously, that could change if we win this weekend, but as of right now, it's just FSU. Look at the schedule after they play us. Stanford at home, at SMU, versus Syracuse, versus NC State, at VTech, at Pitt. I'm not a lot there, besides maybe that SMU game. Texter says, I absolutely disagree with the texter on Petrino versus Petrino for all the reasons that you laid out. I hate that Rick has been brown-nosing UK lately, and he has his own issues, but Bobby is one of the sleaziest, most hateful people in college football. Bobby 1.0 carries all of the positive views the fan base has of him, which is fair, I guess, because of the heights that he reached here, but doesn't change that he's just a total ass and desperately wants to leave the first chance, or wanted to leave the first chance that he could. Excuse me. I don't think that did anybody really buy the Bobby 2.0 thing, that he was a changed man? I don't think, Tom Jurich, he tried to make it about, we're bringing Bobby back because he's genuinely changed. He had this big heart-to-heart with me. He caddied for his daughter in a golf tournament, for Christ's sake. And I think the fan base was kind of like, yeah, we don't care. The fan base that was supportive of him coming back wasn't supportive because of his character. They were just like, I don't care if he's Mussolini. We need to win football games again. We got to keep the ball rolling. We just joined the ACC. We can't afford to fall off the face of the earth when it comes to football again, like we did the last time we had a successful coach leave, which, by the way, was Bobby Petrino. So let him be the biggest a-hole possible. Just win football games. And then there was a contingent of fans that did not want him back, period, because he was an a-hole. And so I don't think anybody bought that he was this, choir boy behind the scenes. I guess I can tell this now. Very early on, so there was this whole thing about, Bobby's changed and he did a media tour and he's, he learned from the mistakes at Arkansas and he learned from the mistakes here. Probably about 3 months after he had the job, there was a co-ed at U of L that sent me screenshots of the DMs it was a friend of the co-ed that sent me screenshots that he'd been sending. And it wasn't the last time that it happened while he was here. And I was like, yeah,
that's so terrible.
It's so sleazy. And it was just the whole thing was always going to be sleazy.
Grow up, dude.
It was, the whole thing was gross. And it was one thing where you could say all coaches kind of do this. Most coaches kind of do this, but
no, they don't really.
Well, even the nice ones you hear, when you hear some behind the scenes stories, you get disappointed a lot when it comes to guys. Every now and then you hear about some people who are the genuine artifact, but unfortunately, this is the old man in me now, having done this for a while, those cases are few and far between. But Bobby was an extreme case when it came to just being, nobody who worked for him liked him. Nobody who worked for him thought he was a great guy, but he somehow keeps, this keeps happening. This keeps going on. But it was it wasn't like a, the DMs were so weird. It wasn't like a full-on, like, hey, you want to see my penis? You know, that kind of
No,
thing.
but probably trying to go hang with people he shouldn't be hanging with.
It's like messages you shouldn't be sending to girls college students working with the football program. Like, you don't need to be genuine, like just like generally conversing,
Yes.
especially at like hey, like, you know, like, do you like popcorn with your movie? LOL. Like, and you seen any good movies? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, come on. Especially after all that you've, you know, a very public issue that you've had.
Super weird stuff.
I don't know what's in the water over there. Sometimes people just in that athletic program, they just too horny for their own good, Roman. Just cloud judgment. Not the first. Hopefully he will be the last that has that issue. Texter says, I would love to see Adams at quarterback in the red zone or short yard situations. Him with any member of BBW Lacey in motion seems like a cheat code.
Deuce with two in the backfield, being one of Isaac Brown, Keywan Brown, or Duke Watson, two of the three. That's, I mean,
I would
the
love
triple option right there is really scary.
I mean, I don't know if this is something that's even on Jeff's radar. We talked all last year about, you know, the short yardage package for Pierce Clarkson. Deuce Adams is faster than Pierce Clarkson. He's bigger than Pierce Clarkson. He's a better thrower than Pierce Clarkson. It makes more sense now than ever, with the running game struggling the way that it is, to have something like this in place. I would love to see
Who was
us
it 2 years ago that he did it for? O'Connell? Or what was his name?
Well, I mean, we had Jack Plummer here 2 years ago.
When the short yardage stuff 2 years ago. The quarterback.
Evan Conley?
Evan Conley.
We had the package in place for Evan Conley. If we were willing to do that with him, you'd think that this would be on the table for Deuce Adams, because he's bigger and faster than Evan Conley as well. I would love to see this happen. You know, it's one of those things where I guess it makes too much sense to us, and maybe there's a reason behind closed doors that they won't do it, or maybe we'll see it on Saturday. Who the hell knows?
Maybe he thinks that's his starter next year, and he's not trying to put him in a position to get hurt.
Maybe, or you know, but I would love to see it. It'd be a nice way. I mean, what we're doing right now in the running game is not working. I would like to see us try something different a little bit, especially in those short yardage situations where the only success we've had recently has been when we've had to get super creative. You know, we had the 3rd and 1. We ran the fake play where Jaleel Skinner leaked out. We scored a touchdown there. When we've done the standard 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 shotgun handoff, hadn't gone well more times than not this year. Would like to see something different. And then, you know, if you run it successfully a couple of times, you're setting a defense up later in the season for us to be able to hit a pass play on that.
Can we go grab a running back from somewhere right now?
Don Chaney is available.
I mean, can he play next week? Can he play this week?
There are no rules. Of course he could play next week. He's
Like we were trying to sign basketball players at any point in the season last year.
He might be practicing right now for all we know. He may be over there. Yeah, I don't know. There are no rules. Get one of the high school kids we got committed. Suit him up. He's good to go. Throw him out there. Briggs Cherry's eligible. Play him. Texas says, I think it's interesting that you bring up the last time in the... Come on, Text Groove. Give me a second. Text Groove's working. Text Groove's working. I think it's interesting you bring up the last time the Reds were in a real playoff series was 2012. Look what happened since then. We went from Mitt Romney's binders full of women as the biggest national faux pas to the government shutting down tonight and the military being deployed to cities. Let that be a lesson, MLB. Leave the Reds out and the world goes to hell. Yeah. I mean, what do you want me to say? Sure. When the Reds go this long without playing in an actual series, weird stuff happens. Texas said, I'm still in shock. Come on. Text Groove. Can you read that?
Loading for me still.
Why does this
I
happen?
should just start clicking the next one.
I do. But like that one was, I was reading and reacting to it. I do, once we have these Text Groove issues. I'm still in shock that you call the U.S. Ryder Cup team a bunch of losers. Then again, Chris the Plumber would fit in well with them. Well, I mean, I said a lot of losers on that team. Not all losers. Definitely some losers. Keegan Bradley's kind of a loser. Sorry. He is. His whole, like, we're going to F them up. Like, well, you didn't. You lost. Russell Henley, massive loser. Harris English, gigantic loser. Bryson, loser. Team, lost. Love JT. Love some of the other guys in the squad. Team was full of losers. Texas very on brand for Plummer today. Is that Chris or is that Jack? I just loved, Yeah, we didn't talk about this. Someone at the game sent me that picture of the guy in the Teddy Bridgewater jersey sitting next to the guy in the Jack Plummer jersey, and then like later on, a guy in a Lamar Jackson jersey joins them, and like they're all standing next to each other. So I made the joke. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they hang out like this." The fact that someone was wearing a Jack Plummer jersey to a game I respect the hell out of it. Let's go.
Fast you bought one.
Say what you want. Guy won 10 games. Let's go. Let's do it. Texas, hi, Mike Roman. Why does Chris the Plumber want everyone to know how racist he is? WTF. Little Dumper says, I also watched the EKU game at my great uncle's funeral.
What's up with this?
I don't think I believe this. I'm going to need some proof at this. Multiple Rutherford Show texters watched the Eastern Kentucky game at a funeral. I don't know if I buy this. This is almost too much. I need proof of this. Man. That's wild if true. Has anyone ever... Okay, I need a backup story at some point. Has anybody else, be genuine about this, watched a U of L game while you've been at a funeral or a burial or a memorial, something along those lines? Because I need to know if, like, we're wrong or if this is more normal than I'm giving it credit for. Let's take a break.
I've ever watched anything at a funeral.
I have not either. It's like the one... I mean, I assumed that nobody else had either, but clearly I was wrong. 5 o'clock hour is back after the break. Keep it locked right here. 1450 The Big X.
Communication can be your family's
This just reminds me of the viral YouTube sensation in 2004, the video My New Haircut. The guy who was my new bleeping haircut. Kind of said he was Jersey Shore before Jersey Shore became a thing.
about. Yeah, I've seen
I mean, back in the day, I probably watched like 50 times. I watched it for the first time in years. It was popped up on the timeline like a month ago. People were like, remember this guy? I was like, oh yeah, not now, Chief. I'm in the bleeping zone. It's a great video, but that type of music just reminds me of those types of guys who I guess are still around, but not nearly as visible as they were from like 2004 through 2012ish. Around then, the whole country became Jersey for a brief period in time, and it was not a great time. But we've moved on. We've gotten better. We've learned from our mistakes. Shout out to Mike the Situation Sorrentino. Forgotten in time. He's better now. It's the 5 o'clock hour of the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, 1450 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. If you've been hurt in an accident or hurt on the job, there's only one place to go here locally. It's the Collier Law Firm. You hear Tony Collier. You see his name everywhere in the city. He sponsors the Jeff Brom radio show, which you'll hear tomorrow night, I believe, from 7 to 8 on 970 WGTK. The Collier Law Firm they're omnipresent for a reason. It's because they've been super successful for over a decade at serving those in Louisville who deserve to have recovery money. And once they get you the recovery money that you need, they make sure that you keep the most money for your recovery, which is why their attorney fees start at just 25%. Call Tony and the crew at 502-736-8141 or visit them online at collierlawfirm.com, COLYER lawfirm.com. Hurt in an accident or hurt on the job, call your law firm. All right, we got about 25 minutes left here on the show. We will take more texts in a second. We'll make some predictions for the night ahead momentarily. We also have an update, unfortunately, from the MLB Wild Card Series between the Padres and the Cubs. Cubs have surged ahead, Roman, 2-1 in the bottom of the seventh inning. Don't love it. Not a big fan.
Don't love it at all.
But
I need under 4.5 in that one.
You're flirting with it. Just 2.5 innings left. You might be okay. We'll see. But hopefully the Pods can battle back because I hate the Cubs. But if they don't, congrats to Cubs fan Brian. We'll see. We'll keep you updated unless the Cubs win, in which case we won't. A couple things to talk about before we get back to the text line. Shout out to former Trinity baseball standout and U of L baseball signee Dalen Lyle. He's been named for the last month of the regular season in baseball the NL Rookie of the Month and Player of the Month. Kid absolutely raked for the Nationals the last month of the season. You know, Trinity baseball player, they're built different, Roman. The Rock baseball alums. They move differently. They have different levels of success. And Dalen Lyle is just the latest example. Some host radio shows on.
There are more St. X kids in the MLB right now.
No. Oh. I think we have at least 2 Trinity players. Brandon Fott and Dalen Lyle.
I always think he went to St. X.
No, I mean the shortstop, the kid who plays for the Tigers, went to St. X, and then you've got Will Smith played at KCD, and I think there's I feel like there's another one out there. You had a Butler for the Braves. Who's now his name is completely escaping me, but we've had a decent run. Joe Adele played at Ballard, so just 2 Rocks in there.
Did you see that?
Making plays.
Somebody like on the team Albert Pujols changed his bat grip. Like the images of how he was holding the bat before Albert Pujols got a hold of him, I can't believe he even made it to the MLB.
On what team?
Maybe on the Angels. Did Pujols not play out there?
Well, he did. Are you saying that Pujols?
Yes, like Joe Adele wasn't holding the bat correctly.
Oh, you're talking about Adele, okay.
Until Pujols got out to the Angels.
Oh, I see.
And he changed his whole bat, the way he held the bat. And it was like fingers were not in line at all. Elbows weren't really doing the right thing. I'm surprised he was able to hit the ball. It's just kind of one of those things. It's like if he learned how to hold the bat correctly earlier on, how good could he have been? You know,
he is a remarkably.
I have a buddy who struck him out, who was never college bound. That means he, But I just heard that he also struck out a lot for how well of a hitter he also was.
Well, that hasn't changed. His thing now is he is a monstrous human being. His whole thing is kind of power. He hit 236 this year, but he hit 37 home runs.
That's a lot.
He hit 2 in one game against the Reds. When he hits the ball, it is with a ton of pop. And they're kind of, there's definitely keeping him in their plans out there in Anaheim. Yeah, he's He's a big part of their future. But Dalen Lyle, man, he is a monstrous part. I say monstrous too much. I'm sorry. He's a gigantic part of what Washington's going to do moving forward. He had a hell of a month, and props to him. That's a big-time honor. Brooks Holton had a story today in the Courier-Journal. And he
Shout out Brooks.
we love Brooks. He reached out to me about this a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. I can't keep track. It's the 15-year anniversary of the opening of the KFC Yum Center. And he was trying to identify the 5 biggest Louisville games that have taken place over those 15 years. And he sent in 5, and he was like, what do you think about this? Is there anything that I'm forgetting? And he had the big one.
The Duke game,
What Duke game?
or was that when we beat them on the? Oh, we beat them in the Yum Center in like 2018, 2017.
I mean, we beat him in the Yum Center, not in like a huge game.
I thought it was like a huge.
We lost to him in
spread.
2018 with Zion when we were up by like 25. That was one of the worst losses we've ever had.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
Maybe.
Yeah.
We had a big comeback against North Carolina, which he had on there. But he had, the Miracle on Main, I think, is everybody's first memory, and that was the first year of the arena. Preston Knowles going nuts against Marquette. He had the big comeback against North Carolina where Montrezl Harrell went nuts,
Yeah.
and we overcame the gigantic deficit. Mango Mathiang hitting a buzzer beater against Virginia in 2015, which for a long time was our only win over them.
What did that buzzer beater look like?
I remember it was like the classic Vital quote where he's like, he's the last option. Like, we couldn't find an open guy, and he just hits like a little pull-up
That's what I thought. Like
10-foot
mid-range?
jumper. Yeah, and the place goes nuts. We beat Virginia. Crazy game. And then the Quentin Snyder game against UK back in 2016. And then the last one he had was us beating Michigan wide out when we were number 1 in the country, backing up that ranking, taking down number 4 Michigan. Defensive battle, 58-43. He originally had he was like, what do you think about the 2012 Kentucky game? Shane Bohannon blowing the kiss. And I was like, memorable game because we beat Kentucky, but also it was a bad Kentucky team. We didn't play particularly well. We only won by 3 points. It was memorable, but not nearly as memorable as I think as the Quentin Snyder game. That's the only good Calipari team we ever beat when he was there. So I think those 5 are good. You can make a case for a couple of other games here and there, but I think that for the most part he nailed it. Like,
Quentin was all over the place in that game, right?
he was tremendous. He was fantastic. I mean, Donovan hit the clutch free throws at the end, but he was not great in that game. That was the Quentin Snyder game. He owned it. I mean, going up against De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, he was the best player on the floor that night. He was really, really good. But check it out over there at thecourierjournal.com. Weigh in with your thoughts. But I think for the most part, I think that those 5 games were probably right. I think he got it right. All right, we got, let's see here. We got time. We got time to talk about a couple other things. Field hockey, back in the top 25, Roman. They're number 18 in the country. Women's soccer, which, by the way, already has more points this season than they've ever had an entire season, which is crazy. We're not even at October. They're ranked in both national polls. They're number 10 in the top drawer soccer, top 25, number 23 in the coaches poll. Not sure how you can have that much of a disparity, but congrats. The women's soccer team has been great this year. Maybe all it took was the little call out from the Rutherford show where we're like, you guys got to get it going a little bit. Let's make some plays. They've been tremendous this year.
They've been great.
Volleyball stays at number 6 after sweeping their first 2 ACC matches of the year. Not really a shock there. Props to them. And then if you want to get mad about something, and it's funny because this guy typically has been higher on Louisville's teams than anybody else, and it's not him, it's his rating system. Evan Miyakawa, who I think does a great job, he had Louisville higher going into last year than anybody, so we all loved Evan Miyakawa. His first rankings for the upcoming season have Louisville at number 19. So now I guess we all hate Evan Miyakawa, right? 19 seems way too low.
He doesn't know ball.
His computer ranking is broken. There's a bug in that system. Get him out of here. But he's got us at 19. Whatever. It's the computers. It'll adjust if we start winning games. Last basketball note, 5-star big man Isaiah Hill from the class of 2027 has announced his visits for the upcoming month. He will go to Kentucky on October 18th. He will visit Louisville officially on October 24th, which, of course, is the same night that we're going to play host to Kansas in exhibition basketball. Isaiah Hill, look him up. Big-time talent, 6'10", very versatile. One of our key targets early in the 2027 recruiting class. And then last nugget overall, updated odds to win the ACC, according to Cam Miller and his system. Miami is the favorite to win the ACC with a 21.7% chance. Georgia Tech is second with a 20.3% chance. Louisville,
That's what I
third,
figured.
18.1%. That number keeps getting higher at week after week after week. And if you're curious, Virginia is fifth with an 8.2% chance. Duke is fourth with an 11.4%.
So are we preying on Georgia Tech's downfall or not?
Yeah, I think we're rooting against Georgia Tech. We need them to lose. It just would be, I mean, obviously we got to take care of ourselves. But if we are looking at things, I mean, they play at Duke this week, which those two teams both 2-0 in the ACC. But I think you root harder for Georgia Tech to lose that game because the rest of their schedule is versus Syracuse, at NC State, at Boston College, versus Pitt, and they're done. That's it. And they play Georgia. Duke's schedule after this, they've still got to go at Clemson versus Virginia, at North Carolina versus Wake Forest. They're more likely to drop one of those games. They play at Cal this week, actually.
They're cooked.
Yeah, they're not going to go 8-0. Tech might go 8-0 if they go on the road and win that Duke game. So let's go Dukies. Darian Mensah, make it happen. All right, 502-414-1450. Texter says, wins absolutely have to be included with the title restoration. The banner required games to be won. Perhaps Josh offers a few games to be kept off as punishment for all that money the players never touched but benefited immensely from. Sarcasm. This reminds me of how WKU jumped back in front of Louisville in all-time wins because of this. When Louisville passed WKU, it was in a game where they played one another and they were tied in all-time wins. A wild stat. I don't remember that. That's wild. But yeah, I mean, we deserve to be in front of Western when it comes to all-time wins. Western also gets to hang its Final Four banners, even though they were vacated, and we don't get to hang ours.
That last paragraph sounded like Stallworth.
Now, you'll know Star Wars because he'll bring up like us being a 6th seed in the 1983 tournament or something. We love our guy, Stallworth. What could we offer up? Like, give us our wins back, and you keep the losses. You know, you can take our loss. You can keep. Was there anybody we didn't like? You can keep Shaquan Aaron's stats from those years. We don't need Shaquan Aaron's point total, but give us our wins and our titles back. That's the deal. That's the only deal that we're willing to make. Texter says Chris the Plumber having an aneurysm, hearing all of the. Here we go again, text group. I can't even finish the text.
I got a quick question for you.
Okay,
Mike.
ask while this is loading.
Most underrated Louisville player of all time within the fan base since I've been alive.
What do you mean within the fan base?
Like what? Like statistically, the actual impact on the team, they were a lot better than people like to make them out to be.
You think like a player that the fan base was overly hard on, but that I thought was actually good?
Yes.
I jokingly bring this guy up a lot. I think Earl Clark has an unfair reputation amongst the fan base. People were like, "Hey, it was a disappointment." Earl Clark was really good.
Mine is Dingadell.
I think I agree with Dingadell wholeheartedly. People remember the Virginia game. People remember him.
When we needed him to be good, he was good. I felt like.
I think people remember him being selfish on the David Padgett team in 2017-18. And the reality was he kind of had to be. He was the best player on that team. We needed him to score a lot. And maybe he wasn't doing the right things, but maybe it was.
He's the most athletic guy on the team that could dribble the ball.
He started as a freshman. Donovan Mitchell, who was in his class, didn't start as a freshman. That injury set him back immensely that first season. I think they
had like a couple dumb decision makings. People making, Dingadell was a dumb player. He was actually really good for us, I felt like.
He was good. He definitely made some mistakes. He definitely was a frustrating player at times. But I think people sometimes let that frustration overwhelm all the good. If he goes out there and scores 9 straight points, people are like, yeah, that's what he's supposed to do. And then if he makes a bad turnover, see, I told you. Like, you can't just.
Yeah.
He averaged like 16 points on that team in 2017-18. Why is it, so text, this is the first
not
time
even opening the text at all.
That's what I'm saying. That's the first time it's ever happened. Like, it just was loading, and then it just didn't open. It went back to the previous text.
The one after that opened up for me.
Okay, what it said?
Said, Roman, I can't wait until the Trent Flowers special. Can you make sure to ask him what he saw in the Kenny Payne Louisville sign up in the first place? Or was it just Adidas funneling him to us to try to revive a broken program? It's actually a pretty good question. Also, I hope fans recognize that Flowers is the savior of Louisville basketball. If he stays there, he's a real alternative reality where we're competitive enough to keep KP for year 3. Thank God he's a quitter.
It's fine. My text group did the same thing. It opened that one perfectly, but the one, whoever that texter is, I don't know.
Chris the Plumber having an aneurysm, hearing all the bad Bunny and Spanish talk on the show today.
Now mine's working too. So good point on the. Let's leave Chris alone. Good point on the Trent Flowers thing. I don't think he would have made that much of a difference. But let's say we get Trenton Flowers, and he is like worth 5 games, and we go out there and we win 13 games.
I'd like to believe Josh wouldn't have.
I still think he would have gotten fired, but if there was any chance that he did get fired, we thank Trenton Flowers for making that happen. Because imagine winning 4 games, 13 games, bringing him back, and then winning like 15 games in year 3. I mean, we would just now be getting ready for year 1 of Pat Kelsey or whoever we ended up hiring. Imagine being in that world right now. I feel like we're already
would have done the radio still.
I'm telling you, man. Like I feel like we're already so far removed from the Kenny Payne era. Imagine if we hadn't seen a game coached by anybody besides Kenny Payne since 22. Right now, that would just, yeah. Texas says, Mike, I want to see some street fight between the whistle talk. I'm ready for a Jeff Brom. Like he's always so composed in these videos that they put out, and I like what he said after the game. But I want to see like some chair throwing. I want to see some street fight between the whistle. I want to see some just going nuts. And maybe it's happening. They just haven't shown us that footage.
It's definitely happened.
But we haven't got we haven't seen it. We haven't gotten any of the stuff that we saw from him at Purdue and at Western Kentucky. And I know he's got it in him.
Here's my thing about that take. While I do agree with you, I'd like to avoid the situations where that would warrant him acting like that.
Well, I mean, but he would do like the street fight
between
between the
positivity.
Whistles, yeah, like the street fight between the Whistles talk that he gave was before Western was going to play Alabama. Like he was getting them all fired up for that game, and they played well. They got beat handily because it's Western versus Alabama. But that was a pregame speech. I would love to see something like that this Saturday before we play Virginia. Get the guys fired up. And like I said, maybe it's happening and we're just not privy to it. But we haven't seen any of it. Throw a chair.
He's probably, I feel like, under the impression, like, getting paid this much money, you better be fired up.
Break a glass. Like, give me something. Let's go. Texas, I'm worried that the ACC has already selected Georgia Tech to play Miami and Charlotte. We saw season-long shenanigans with SMU and Miami last year. Saturday in Winston-Salem seemed like the first round of 2025 ACC shenanigans.
I like this take.
Well, the problem is Miami didn't even make the championship game last year. It ended up being Clemson-SMU. So if they were trying to get Miami into the championship game, they failed. So if they're trying to get Georgia Tech in the championship game this year, hopefully they fail again.
They weren't playing for SMU to be that good.
Is there a part of you that thinks, though, with the calls that they got and some of the calls that we got,
let's make sure Georgia Tech stays in the positive national spotlight,
or just like that? Let's make sure that the teams that we do have that have no non-conference losses and a decent resume, they're not losing games to the teams that do have some bad because we got some calls. Tech got some calls.
So terrible if that's the case, but I wouldn't be surprised.
You got to do what you got to do. It benefits us right now. But if we get terrible calls against Miami in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be awfully pissed off about it. But the ACC, I wouldn't put it past them. The ACC, they know their backs are against the wall. They know they're viewed widely as the fourth best Power 4 conference, and they want to get multiple teams in the playoffs. They're trying, maybe. Texas, I was curious about our all-time record after the texter mentioned getting all the wins back. So I looked at the current official winningest college basketball programs of all time on Wikipedia, and I was shocked at the hit we took from the years of vacant wins and the KP era. Holy crap, we're now 31st all time. I want those wins back too, Josh. Yeah, I knew we were, I didn't think we were that low, but yeah. We're lower than you would think just because we had, the program didn't really get going until like the late 1950s. So a lot of the big programs in college basketball had a head start. If you look at all-time NCAA tournament wins and Sweet 16s and stuff like that, clearly we're way farther up on those lists. But yeah, all-time wins, the vacated seasons and Kenny Payne being Kenny Payne definitely put us down there. Texas, watching a game during a wedding, fair game. During a funeral, I think you got to look in the mirror for a long time after that one. I don't think I could ever get to a point where, unless it was like someone I secretly didn't like, which I don't know why I would even be there.
I look at it like this. If I had somehow, some way, I had a funeral this November 11th. If it's not extended family, Mike.
Even if it is, man, like, it's not worth the judgment that you're going to get. If you get caught watching a game at a funeral, I mean, if I see someone watching a game on their phone at a burial, I'm judging them. And I'm as big of a sports person as there is. I still am like, all right, man, just DVR the game, turn your phone off, and then go home and watch it.
I'm watching Michael Brown sauce up Jalen Lowe in live time. I don't know about you, Mike. I'm sorry.
I'm watching 2 deaths today.
We're celebrating life here.
We're killing Kansas tonight, and we're putting this person that I don't really know in the ground. Texas, I'm flying back this weekend for my first Cards game since the Liberty Bowl against Boise State. Jeez, that's 21 years ago.
Wow.
Outside of the joy of victory, the thing that I remember the most about that game is how Boise's band absolutely smoked us in the Battle of the Bands, and it broke my 12-year-old heart how much better they were. It was like the drumline scene where they were playing Flight of the Bumblebee, and they were playing jams from the Jackson 5. Man, it's a long hiatus. Oh, it's North Dakota guy.
Yeah.
Man.
That's cool. He's coming to watch his Cards again after such a long time of not.
Someone get North Dakota guy a drink. He shouldn't have to pay for a drink making his that type
Find
of
me
drink.
in the tailgate.
Texas, did you know that Louisville's baseball team was in Chicago last weekend for a fundraiser for Curtis Granderson's foundation? I knew they were in Chicago. They
I saw a
played.
tweet about them being somewhere.
They went there. I mean, look, we've recruited Chicago very well over the years. I think it's mostly we're doing this primarily for recruiting purposes. I know we played exhibition games against UIC and I think another Chicago-based school. I didn't know we did the Curtis Granderson thing, but I knew that we were up there for the whole weekend. So, smart move. Texas, full transparency, I've never watched at a funeral, but I probably would if it called for it. However, 2 years ago when we came back and beat NC State by a field goal, I was watching that game on my phone at a destination wedding when I was a part of the wedding party, including during the speeches and first dances. I'm fine with that. I've been in a wedding party and watched games on my phone. Partially. You know, they glanced at it.
Abelson was at a wedding over the weekend, and he was like making comments in the group chat, just like, how lame do you have to be to not have TVs on during your fall wedding?
Yeah, if you're going to do a fall wedding, it needs to be somewhere where people can see the game. The best fall wedding that I went to was the one where Western Kentucky beat Kentucky on like a trick play for a 2-point conversion in overtime, and like all the Kentucky fans gathered around the phone. I mean, it was just, and these people that I love, I still loved seeing them so sad. It was wonderful. Texas, has anyone hyped up one battle after another in the text line? It's way better than Weapons. I don't even know what that is. Assuming it's a new movie. Just don't harass us about watching this. Texas says, Mike could have used any other choice of words than diehard fan when referring to the dude watching a game at his girlfriend's grandma's funeral. Fair point. Mike, I text in every day. I love you and Roman, love our Cards, and I demand to be named in the text line. Well, you got to give us something.
Got to go and make sure that name happens. Got to create something.
Absolutely. Texas, who is the mysterious...
We love you too, though.
We love you too. Who's the mysterious number 91, and why doesn't he have a name on his jersey? I saw this from last game. Did you
That's
see
our
this?
boy, Mike. Kendrick Gilbert from Indianapolis, redshirt sophomore.
Why doesn't he have a name on his jersey?
I don't know. I'm not even sure it's him because the number 91 I've got here is he's been on the roster as number 91 since the EKU game.
And this was the only time where this has been pointed out, so I assume this was a one-game thing. But Kendrick Gilbert, redshirt sophomore defense. This is our guy now. We got to go to war for Kendrick Gilbert. Texas, me and my dad still argue about Earl Clark. I loved him. Older people hated Earl Clark.
You and your dad argue about anything like that, like over the years?
Back in the day, yeah. My first favorite player was LeBradford Smith, and my dad hated him. I was like 5, and I was like, he's great. My dad's like, he's too flashy. I was like, he's the all-time assist leader in program history. Scootator says, third text, do you all really think we got that many calls in the pit game? I felt like it was pretty fair. There were some missed and some wrong calls. They were both ways. We got the benefit of, I think, some 50-50 calls. There was one really bad pass interference call for sure that we got the benefit of. Texas Cardcron game watch party at Mike's funeral. You guys, okay, I'm putting this out there. If I die, God forbid, and there's a Louisville game going on at the same time, which my wife would never allow. But if it did happen, you guys have my blessing to watch sports during my funeral. Make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
Make it happen. All right, we got to get out of here. I can't read all your texts. I'm sorry. How did we not get to all the texts on a Tuesday? I feel
They
bad
just
about
sent
this.
like 5 in right there at the last minute.
Cubs lead the Padres 3-1 right now as they go to the 9th inning. Real quickly, Red Sox Yankees tonight, game 1. My guy Dylan just texted back. He's fired up. He's ready to go. Who wins?
It's in, where is it?
All of them are in New York. The Bronx. The Yankees.
Give me the Yankees in game 1.
Yankees win too. Reds Dodgers tonight, 9:08. Hunter Green versus Blake Snell. Who you got?
Give me the Dodgers.
The Dodgers are going to win. Go Reds! Keep it locked right here for Roman's recap. I'm back tomorrow at 2:30. Go Cards, go Reds.
Go Cards. United Mechanical. John Burke's United Mechanical is your